Oh, fuck, Meg, I never read that document they sent me.
No, it's fine. We'll see how much of it pans out. Most of
Microsoft
it's just
Word
ideas.
would like to open. So you're gonna make it canon that he was raised by, or he was raised as
Yeah.
a she?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll have to read through the rest of this stuff.
Wait, what?
He's a changeling. They're gender fluid. Don't be so rude. Oh man, where the hell is Sin at? We to send him a message. Save this picture of a big black cock. Forward this to Sin. Message this. Aurelia wants you to see her massive black
Shining.
cock.
Shining.
It is glistening. There you go, glistening.
Tangled.
Oh my god.
Unkempt, but glistening.
I sent it. It said, Broly wants you to see her massive black cock. I hope you're happy.
Thanks, Naz.
This is what you've done.
I didn't send the text message.
You were going to, though.
Yes,
She's just upset I beat her to it.
pretty much.
Oh, let's see here. Where is this mother trucker? Is it a set deck of Cards Against Humanity?
I think so.
That's in the biggest, blackest box. It was a hidden card that you had to, like, rip out of the box.
You had to rip that card out of the box?
Yeah, it was in the lid.
I think in the online version, it's just there.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know. We have the deck of that we play is at my little brother's house, and there's probably like 6 or 7 different Cards Against Humanity decks put in there, along with 30 or 40 just custom cards we made when we were just 3 sheets to the fucking wind drunk. There's some
That's the best
fucked
way
up
to make
shit in
those
there.
cards.
He's got one that's like, it's best to adopt children win. And then he's got, there's one that's best ways to break up. You know you need a sex change when. It's just, there's some fucked up shit in that deck. There's like 3 cards I put in there from way back in the day when we played EverQuest. They're just like these old EverQuest jokes that only the 3 of us ever fucking understand. Those are great when you're fucking absolutely drunk. Oh my gosh! Alright, well, we're waiting for Sinestro to get his happy ass in here. You declare he'll be right there. In the meantime, it is. We're gonna say that you guys got a long rest after the previous adventure we had last Saturday, where got a bullet ricocheted across her skull. Um, had some reflective life choices and a restless sleep when you're sleeping back up in the attic of this Troll Skull Manor. Makai went back to the shore side and took a dip in the sea. I'm assuming she managed to make her way back safely before the sun rose. If not, she might be sleeping with some cats in an alley somewhere. Sinestro flew back
probably
ahead
made
of
it back.
everyone, completely done with all of your shit. You were saying, Makai?
I probably made it back before sunrise, but
Okay.
barely.
So with that, as we're waiting for him to get here anyway, I'm going to say it is now early morning. The sun is about to just starting to peek over the rooftops of the neighboring buildings, peering into the tinted windows that have been, some of them oh so lovely and carefully enchanted, others lovingly crafted by the hands of your local glassmith Sinestra. And the day is yours. What would you like to do?
I'm going into the tap room. I probably will have a headache from hell too.
Oh yeah, your head is throbbing. You're fairly sure that even though the magic had healed the wound, that there's probably still a fracture or something in your skull.
Oh joy.
And every time you go through that little bit of that familiar tingle you get when you shift forms as you're used to doing after the decade or so of life as your little bit of changeling that you've had, there's that twinge of pain and just hesitation as you slowly shift from the masculine male form that you had adopted for your traveling days as to make it easier and in your mind safer, back to your familiar, more comfortable feminine form. It takes a few more moments than you're used to slowly shift your frame back to that slender bit, and you're a little cautious as you shift your facial features and your cranium and skull and all that down to that slimmer design. It's you almost feel like things are grating and grinding upon each other as you do it. It's a little unnerving.
So something's still wrong, essentially.
You're not sure, but you think something probably is still wrong. You might need to seek a more accomplished healer. Someone that didn't say, "Okay, here you're healed, you're all better," and then go and dive in the fucking ocean immediately afterwards.
I'm gonna go up to the counter and add. I'm gonna say that I probably don't really remember a whole lot, so I'm just gonna lay my head on the counter.
You have to remember everything.
Blah. I got a bullet to the skull. I don't remember shit right now.
It's nice, cool counter. The wood is somewhat comforting to you, and the firm sturdiness of the tabletop of this the bar here is it's relaxing. It's grounding you in the moment here, and you close your eyes for a bit and think, okay, yeah, I'll be all right. I might need a seal here, but I'll be all right.
I'm gonna go check on Lacuna because she was having a rough day yesterday as well, and I think we still need to find Miss Esms.
Miss Essems, hey, Zero. She in your pocket?
You asking him if the cat's in his pocket?
Yeah, yeah.
All right, well,
Essems knows what she's doing. She knows where home is.
well, at this point, it's still early in the morning. Oh god, map zoomed out way more than I wanted to. He is currently just sleeping in his fucking room upstairs, so you'd have
Oh,
to go.
he didn't even come?
Oh, he came back. It's the next day is passed over. It's early in the morning for you guys.
Oh, okay.
You got a long rest, so if you want to go and find him or anything, you'll have to go to his room to do it.
All right. Well, yeah, I'm gonna knock on the door.
While I'm knocking on Lacuna's door.
Lacuna, did you return to your room
Knocking
the
on
previous evening?
Lacuna's door.
I went to my room. I locked the door. I picked up Cookie and wrapped her in my arms and then went to sleep with my head buried under 4 or 5 pillows. It was a very long day yesterday. No.
We have to, but we have to find Miss Uzzums.
How did you get in there?
Yeah, how did you get in there? I mean, it's the only way into that room currently is through the bathroom. We have to fix that. The
I thought
doorway
there's
here.
a doorway right here.
You have to go through Zerio's
There
room
was
first.
supposed to be a door here, but there isn't.
Oh, you do have to go through Zerio's room to get there.
Yeah.
This is a very complicated layout.
Yeah,
I know.
I
I've
meant
been
to.
knocking on the bathroom door.
I meant to edit this map to put that in, but I completely forgot about it.
We pretend there is one there because there was supposed to be one there.
Here, I want to do this. Look at that magic door.
Woohoo!
Magic door.
Knocking on the bedroom door.
There you go.
So I'm not a weirdo trying to knock on a bathroom door.
All right.
Kuna!
Just continue to burrow deeper into my blankets and self-pity.
Sigh.
There's no answer at the door, Makai, as you bang on it. How feverishly are you banging on this door?
I mean, I'm gonna give up after about 30 seconds, to be honest.
After about 15 seconds of her pounding on your door, Lacuna, Cookie crawls out of a little bit of pocket that you tucked it away into and stretches and does a half mechanical, half feline growl and starts pawing at the back of your head as you bury yourself deeper in the pillows, trying to get your attention. Is there somebody making noise?
Meh.
After about 25 seconds of this, Makai's about ready to give up. Cookie's had enough with the constant racket and banging and opts to bite your ankle instead.
I scream into my pillow.
Are you okay, Lacuna?
Nothing will ever be okay.
You'll be fine. We can go shopping. It always fixes broken hearts. Also, we need to find a cat.
I'm not broken-hearted!
Lies!
You're just broken brained.
Oh.
Sinestro, after a couple of
Isn't the
taps,
cat? What the hell?
yeah, after a couple of taps of the door, Zirio comes over and he answers the door. He's standing there just yawning, scratching his head. His hair's a fucking mess, and he's just standing there naked. And he's like, "Yeah."
I'm just gonna ask him if he's seen the werecat, the blink cat.
He points down to Lacuna's room and says, "That one stole Uzzums. She declared she'd take care of the cat. Either way."
Oh, I'm pretty sure she lost him.
Do I hear this? Because Miss Uzzum's totally gone.
Are you turning around to address them in the doorway, Makai?
Yeah.
The dark elf is standing there in the door, stark naked, having a discussion with Sinestro.
She doesn't have Miss Uzzum.
You should be used to this. You're a druid.
That's
Druids are always naked.
That is true.
He says, "I wouldn't worry about it unless some jewelry store starts reporting things missing. You're fine.
Okay.
She'll be
Alright,
back
that's
whenever
fine.
she gets bored."
Wait, she steal things?
That's what he's implying right now.
She takes whatever she wants. She does whatever she wants.
The implication you got from in this statement is that the cat goes off and finds shiny things and declares it's the cat's and takes them.
That's pretty much a cat. Okay.
Like a raccoon.
A little goblinish, but
It'll be fine.
With that note, actually, let me grab this book. Where are you, book? There you are. There's the page I wanted. You guys are level 8, yes?
Yep.
Yes.
I'm only level 2.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised by that.
And be glad you guys didn't wake up at like 6 a.m. this morning because Makai was totally walking in the house butt ass naked, dripping wet from swimming in the ocean.
That's not
So
that bad. And also, I was awake.
Oh, great. Great.
It was probably just in his room.
Uh,
I float around.
he just floats around
randomly.
the house randomly.
Like a poltergeist, just kind of like knocking shit
Like a
over.
forever century. Yeah. I'm always looking out for people breaking in or trying to get in or whatever. So I probably saw you and just didn't say anything.
Just didn't care.
Okay. Don't mind the puddles in the tap room or wherever.
Do I see puddles in the tap room?
No, she didn't enter through the tap room. She went to the upstairs floor.
Oh, okay. So
The there was some water at the front door of the building, like going into the tap room, but it just like looks like someone stood there and maybe like walked in a circle of times as if considering their choices, and then there's little puddles that follow around to the back side of the house and up to the second floor.
I probably didn't pay much mind because my head is I'm pounding right now.
Most likely not.
Where you at? He's in the tap room. Okay.
Yeah.
And then, so with that, anything else you guys want to do?
I'm gonna go down and get breakfast because Lacuna's moping and doesn't want to go shopping.
Tell her I took one of her books.
Oh yeah, Lacuna.
Didn't.
He totally took your book. And then I walked downstairs.
Didn't take any of her books, but you can use that, I guess. I'm going downstairs too.
All right, so you're heading downstairs. You guys are going down to the tap room to decide what you are doing.
I'm going to ask Leif for a nice little drink from across the street.
He grins at you mischievously, puts up his hand as if to gesture 1 minute, and then does his usual escalator, looking like he's walking down some steps, fading under the floor.
I can love
I
this
peek
guy.
over the bar and I'm all like, where the fuck is he going?
2 or 3 minutes later, he returns, walking up what appears to be a flight of steps that, again, you do not see. And he has in hand 2 bottles. One of them looks to be some sort of like a decanter of juice, fruit juice of some sort, and the other one looks to be some sort of wine.
I will take the wine.
Fitty fitty.
Also, are those steps real for you, or is that just for show?
There are no steps. When you look behind the bar, it looks like he's, from what you gather, he's probably just pantomiming like walking down some steps as he falls through the floor, essentially.
Okay, so it's just for show.
Yeah.
Basically, it's probably for his own amusement more than anything else.
Okay.
So metagame question here. Would we be kind of like wary of Ulm being in a different form at this
That's
Am
entirely
I
up
in
to you
it?
guys.
Am I in a different form right now?
That's up to you again, Mega, if that's how you want to do it.
No,
I think
I'm
it's then that's on you. I'm not worried. I've already figured it out.
Yeah, I mean, I know he's a changeling, I believe. So you're still in your male form?
Yeah, I've changed back to Edward.
Okay. So no shock there of who the fuck is in my bar room right now.
Yeah.
Okay. So you guys go in there, and Edward is sitting at the bar, his head leaning on or laying on the bar, and he just looks like he's nursing a hangover.
I'm gonna go ahead and do a thing as soon as I can get my sheet up. Right. There you go.
You're casting Lesser Restoration on him.
He looks like shit.
So you cast Restoration.
To everyone.
Okay. You cast Restoration. Goddamn, English is hard. On him. You feel the spell expend, and you know you've managed to cast it properly, though it appears to have no effect whatsoever on his demeanor.
Okay.
Do I feel it?
That's just my reaction to doing it all the time. So
Yeah, I mean, you feel the magic roll over you, and you feel it probing as the spell like washes over your body, looking for some sort of wrong or condition that needs to be repaired or corrected. Though it, from what you can tell, the magic has no effect as it washes over you. It doesn't cling or stick to anything, as you have felt. You've experienced these spells before during your line of work. You've experienced healing magic on yourself. You've experienced the cleansing of poisons or diseases from your body. And typically, when it does it, there's a tugging or clinging motion, and typically around where the wound was, where it originally entered your body, like a poison dagger hits your leg. You would feel that magic tugging on that point before it fades and pulls out of you. You don't feel any of that unless the spell washes over you.
I'm gonna walk around the bar and I'm going to attempt to try and determine if I can see anything, like medicinal wise. May I make a medicine check on that to see if he's like.
I'm just gonna give him
trauma.
juice in the meantime.
Oh, by the way,
Roll
Leaf
dice.
has poured your glass of wine for you. Makai, you look behind the bar as you go back. Aside from there is a single shelf with maybe a 3-foot section where a bunch of glasses have been immaculately cleaned. The rest of the shelf is covered with cobwebs and dust. There are various cups, flasks, decanters and the like that are in there. Some of them are cracked, some of them are just broken, and they're just covered with cobwebs, bugs, dirt, dust, whatever. It looks like Leaf took the time to clean one little section that maybe you think they might be his favorite cups or something. But it's just like
Okay.
one little section behind the bar. The rest of it's just dust.
I'll make a mental note to clean that later.
As
I'm
you
gonna
think
check-
about it, it does occur to you that you told the water elementals to clean everything, and for some reason, this part was never touched.
Those little crack fiends. I'm scared to summon them again. I
Please don't.
may have to appease them with more soap.
I don't want to become a big puffy ball of blood and mush.
Wait, what?
I'm pretty sure they assaulted me last time.
Oh, the water elemental? They just gave you a bath. That was after you took a dip in the sewer with your alligator head.
Huh.
That alligator head, by the way, has been sitting on your desk in your room and just decomposing and festering.
It needs to turn into a skull.
You have made no effort whatsoever to attempt to preserve or clean it. So that's that bit of flesh that's been sitting here. It's late spring, middle spring where you're at now, and while you were on the coast, it's still fairly cold most evenings. Because of where you're at, and as the sun comes up in the evening, and where your room is in particular, the sun just kind of hammers through that window, and where it's out sitting on the desk, it's just being blasted by sun rays for like half of the
Oh
day.
shit. Fuck. Okay, I'm gonna down my wine and I'm gonna go that I want it to be a bone. A clean bone.
Your room probably smells awful.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, but I
Oh
can
my
air it
God.
out so easily. I got the wind on my side. We're good.
But yet,
The stink away.
Nez, can I walk around and kind of like check on Olm or Ed? What do we know you by? Edward?
He's
You know
come-
me as Olm.
Olm? Like to make sure there's not any residual head trauma, damage.
Roll a medicine
anything?
check.
Okay.
Oh, by the way, Ohm, roll
Yep.
roll D100 for me.
Holy shit. I hate roll 20 dice, by the way. I just want to roll my dice that I know roll. It sucks so bad,
I have to put them on camera.
right? Like I need to get
It's on performance.
I need a document camera so I can hook it up to my fucking computer and you guys can actually see me roll dice. I hate roll 20 dice so much.
The
I
roll
mean,
is
I'd
so
settle for the
horrible.
sound.
Cause listen to this.
Yeah, I can hear that.
All right, I'm rolling a d20.
Goblin dice rolling out one by one takes 10 years.
This d20 hated me, and it rolled a 1.
Same,
Was meant
it
to
looks
be.
same thing you got in roll 20.
I know. I fucking
Was meant
hate
to
it.
be.
Yep.
So anyway, looking over him, it's kind of hard to get a gauge on what his condition is, as he is just completely reluctant to cooperate with you in any way. He's sitting there, head leaning on the table, just moping, refusing to engage in you or give you that little bit of sit up and let me look in your eyes situation to see if you
Do
got
I
a
even
fucking
notice that she's trying to do this?
No, you don't fucking notice at all. You just there's a faint moment where you feel something like poking and prodding at you, but there's no pain or anything. So you're just like, yeah, whatever. I don't fucking care.
I'll just pat him on his back and go sit back down.
I leap up.
Pour myself some juice.
You
I leap
slapping
up
his
and
back?
complete check. I'm sorry, Makai. I was off in my own little world.
I was just double checking on you because you took quite a fucking beating.
You're a druid, right?
Yes.
Can you see if this is a little normal? And I'm gonna shapeshift into into a female form, a high alpha from a feminine form.
Okay.
So it takes longer than it usually does, right?
Yes, it does. Probably about twice as long as it does, and there's a little bit of twinge of discomfort as you do it. You don't feel any pain, but it takes there's a lingering sensation of something not quite right.
Makai just kind of stares wide-eyed, and I'm like, yeah, that still not a shock. If that makes, it's still weird watching that happen, even though I'm a druid and I can turn into bears and cats, and it's weird watching a human turn into another human. But
Elf.
okay, elf.
I think I might have to see a healer.
Why? Because you're turning into a girl?
I give Makai a very just a disappointed look. No, it's taking me nearly twice as long to shape change.
Oh. I wasn't sure if that was just because you hadn't done it in a while.
Now that's just rude.
Hey, I don't judge. I'm not judging.
Uh-huh.
If that's your only problem where you don't have practice and it takes twice as long, like isn't that a blessing?
Are we still talking about the same thing?
We?
I'm just gonna drink my juice.
Confusion abound.
I mean, but yeah.
Do I know anything about shapeshifters?
Make an Arcana check for me.
It doesn't take me that long to shapeshift.
Me that long to shapeshift.
But you can
But
shapeshift?
You have some faint familiarity with it. What you know of it is mostly comes from basically Titania and those of the Summer Court essentially fucking with you during the brief period of time you spent in her council when you first accepted your pact. This was maybe a 2 or 3 month period. The time frame of it is still hazy to you because you were in the Feywild. Time passes differently in the Feywild. Um, but the time that you had there, it was the creatures that were you saw doing it were creatures of Fae, and for them it was instantaneous. There was no delay or whatever doing it. And from the experience you had with it, it brings back some confusing memories because there have been times when you thought you were having a good time and making out with what you thought was a very pretty elven woman, and then suddenly there was a hairy dwarf in front of you.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. Maybe I should ask Titania about this. Um, I'll be back.
I
Let's
just
set my
kind of wave
wind
him
down.
off.
Go have fun talking to your
In
lady.
I'm thinking that internally. I'll just say out loud. I'll be back. I'm
Okay.
gonna do some studying.
Studying.
There's first thing I'm gonna do is strip all of the meat and flesh and everything off of that alligator bone, and then blow the stink out of my room.
All right. Make a nature check to see how you do with that.
A 12, and then a nat 20.
Well, you weren't rolling at advantage, so you got 12.
No, it's unfortunate.
um, it takes you a little bit, and it's kind of frustrating, mostly because the skin is just it's decaying and it's as your experience before when we were trying to cook or prepare food. It's normally you slice it and it comes off a nice little slip, but it turns kind of like gooey, almost gelatinous as you start slicing through it and trying to like pull away the scales. They're clinging to your hand and the side of the knife, and you try and get them off, and they start like sticking to the floor or your pants, whatever. And it's gross. It smells rancid as fuck. Uh,
God.
make a Constitution check for me.
Oh,
Ew.
no, I don't like this. Wow.
Doesn't look good.
I've been overcome by the stink.
So as you're going through this, you pause and guys downstairs in the tap room you hear a very loud and audible sound of somebody just making a sounds like a painful retching sound from the upper floors of the building. You take 2 points of poison damage.
That's
Disgusting.
either Lacuna or Sinistra. Where's Aria?
Who knows at this point?
By the way, Makai, do you know I'm a Falcon Mirror man?
I do. I do know Falcon Mirror.
Would you escort me there, please? So I don't get lost again.
Sure. Do we want to wait for more people? Or, I mean, I could take it.
We can wait for
So
others.
did say I was about to be just. I will be right back.
Yeah,
Uh,
he did say he would be right back.
with that, as you finish horfing up that bit of wine you drank and whatever heck you had to eat the previous night before, you do manage to finally clean off what bit of skin was left on the skull. There is a pile of rotten and decaying flesh sitting on your desk where it was sitting beforehand. On top of whatever the hell you were skinning and slothing off of it is sitting there in a not so neat little pile.
Ew.
Throw it out the window.
Ugh.
Easy enough. You gather it up and
I'm not gonna touch it. The wind is gonna do it
okay,
for
so
me.
you're going to use the wind to do it. I need you to make another arcane check then.
Oh,
All right.
While we're waiting for
As-
Sin, I'm gonna clean that fucking dust.
Okay. Easy enough to be done, Makai. Sinestro, as you go to pull the wind together and you start doing it, there's a as the sun catches you, you gag a bit, and you unconsciously lose control a little bit, and there's a as it goes splattering across and paints the rooms of your walls of your
Oh
room.
no!
Before you manage to catch yourself and take the bulk of it and chuck it out the window with this like just gagging, trying to hold back, horfing again. But there is a nice thin coating of whatever is decaying of this now on all four walls of your room and a little bit on
all
the bedding.
four walls.
Yep.
I didn't even just. I didn't even just like slap it against one wall and throw it out the window. I just
No, no.
all the way around.
You were
I think
trying
we
to
need to summon those elementals
you were
again.
trying to make a
And
little
that's
orb
what
of
I'm
air to
thinking.
hold it, and you gagged and lost it a bit, and it just woof, vortex out.
Okay,
Before
well,
you
I'm
managed to catch it.
changing clothes. And then I'm going to ask Titania real quick. But I want to see if so my motivations metagame here. My motivations aren't completely pure. Do an experiment on him.
So you want to do an experiment on almonds, such as what you're saying.
Yeah, but I want to see if I can learn about what's wrong with him, so I can like see what's up.
Okay, so you're asking Titania for advice on what's going on with the changeling.
And then I have a plan for experiment to see if I can force him to change.
Okay, how are you going about your communion with Titania?
Find out. Straight up call her or anything.
You can't just straight up call her. Previous times when you have had communications with her, it has been brought either her beginning the conversation with you, and it's usually rather abrupt, and typically the way she does it is it startles you, is then
Yeah.
you feel that she takes some glee in just making you jump like that when she just invades your presence.
Yeah.
Um, the handfuls of times where you were able to make a force a communion with her, you were in a place that was almost, if not entirely, pure and devoid of um, civilization. Something that, some place that is serene, natural, beautiful. It has a, it's where it's the veil between the Feywild and the material plane is thinner. It's not quite as opaque, and there's that
Got
give
it.
and
So then I
take.
need to go to the Druid Tower.
You that occurs to you that that's probably the best place you can do in the current place where you're at, outside of leaving
When
the
I,
town to go stumbling on the
after I
forest.
change and everything, can I? When are the orphans going to be here?
2 to 3 days, right?
2 more days?
It's
Because
been
you put in the order yesterday.
it's been a day or so. He said he would take the time to go and see what he can gather information wise. Um, you don't
I
know
got time.
exactly
I'm not
when
expecting
he's
these
coming.
people to just show up while we're gone.
We still also have to steal Sandor's attic storage and turn it into a domicile.
Yeah.
So
So,
you're mulling through these thoughts and thinking to yourself, okay, I got time to do this, time to do that, and you've changed your clothes now. It's been about 15, 20 minutes or so. During the time he's gone, Makai, you managed to get under the counter and just dust things out. The entire time while you're doing it, you hear Leif in the background, just faint little voice going, "What are you doing? No, no, not there. No. That one's mine. But no, that doesn't go there. It goes here." And as you're trying to clean, these things are just randomly moving and going in places. It's kind of intrusive because the spot where you just clean the shelf off, just a bunch of like cobweb strewn decanters and cups just like suddenly plop right there where you just cleaned it, and it's a fucking mess again.
Lift, do you want me to clean this or not?
I don't
I don't
think
want
he
to.
does.
It doesn't seem like it. I don't want to intrude, but I also want the place to be decent. Also, I don't want to summon my crack-addled soap elementals
At the
at
mention
this
of
moment.
the elementals, he goes, "Oh," and there's like a moment of like recognition flicks across his head, and he just kind of like nods and backs away as if like he leans against the wall, crossing his arms, like, you know, okay, fine, go do your thing. And as he leans against it, rather than what you're used to, that you're the immediate thought is, okay, he's just going to lean against the wall and watch me. He starts to lean, and he just fades through the wall until all you see is his boots sticking out of the wall, and they fade away as well.
Bye, Liv.
Didn't
Why
have
did
a
you
good
leave?
time with the elementals then.
We kind of like turn this place upside down with the elementals. Also,
Sinestra,
they're addicted to soap.
As you come walking down this little back alley, or the back steps, you are greeted by the familiar dwarven individual, and he's, oh, I found you.
Is it the blacksmith?
No, it's the
Stonecutter.
Barbecue
the
guy.
barbecue pit guy.
Oh, nice.
What the hell is
Yes.
his name? Oh, I wrote his name down somewhere and I don't know where I put it.
Oh,
I
I
wrote
don't
his name
remember
down too.
my
Hold on.
name. I have to find my binder.
Wrote
It's
it
in the
down
other
somewhere.
room.
Just a second. His name. You lost me.
His name was You Lost Me.
I just
Alright.
wrote him down as barbecue pit now.
Oh my
Barbecue
god,
pit.
let me go find my binder.
Well, I got
What's his
it here
name?
somewhere. He wrote it down as Barbecue Pit Man.
Yeah.
Oh my god, where did my blue book go?
No, I remember the other dude's name, just not the dwarf's name.
I also wrote his name down as Barbecue Dwarf.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice. You
We
guys.
didn't give him a name. I thought.
I don't remember.
He gave you his name.
Call him Rekvaz. Like, that's close.
It's gotta be into the notebook here.
The search for the dwarf name.
The dwarf man's
Wait.
name.
What did Sirio think about the sock on his door?
There was the sock is still on his door. By the way, it hasn't been touched. It hasn't been moved. Just it's on his door.
Perfect. Likes the sock on his door.
No, I wrote down the expenses of running a business, but I did not write down the dwarf's name. Also, I have the woodworker's name, Tolly, which I probably need to pick up my damn bed.
Oh, no, they were gonna bring it here.
Were they? Oh yeah, they were.
Gonna bring both yours and mine.
I need my damn bed. I'm tired of turning into a cat at night and
hell
sleeping on
did
the fucking floor.
Someone stole my
I-
freaking pencil now. Awesome.
What's
I know
your
who stole
order?
my pencil. I know who stole my pencil, guys. But
Pay them already?
I
I
think
paid for my bed already.
Okay, because I remember I asked you how much. Yeah, I paid. I paid
Yeah.
too. I doubled the order, so basically you're getting a bed, and then I'm getting 2 beds.
Hot. I don't know
Is
what
what
you're gonna
happened.
do with the 2 beds there.
Push them together. I'm gonna push them together. Well, one of them is supposed to go upstairs. Supposed to share it. No, I'm just kidding.
Wait, what?
What was the other guy's name? I just have Barbecue Pitmasters as my note. There was
it's Adric was the
Two.
dwarf's name. And then
Eric.
the other
got
name
the
I have here is
bookkeeper.
Orsic. It's Adric and Orsic are the 2 names I have here for the barbecue guys.
The one was a gnome, yeah,
The one was a halfling. The other one was a dwarf.
halfling.
The dwarf was the guy that was basically like sampling the goods and selling it, and the halfling was the one that was cooking things. Orsic was the halfling. Adric was the dwarf.
Yep.
All right. All right.
Oh, Adric.
He's
Just getting hungry. I'm just kidding.
I'm not cooking anything yet. I'm Osric, and he's licking his like left hand. He's just like licking his fingers, and you can clearly tell there are like stains of barbecue on his hand. Like, he just got done eating shit as he was walking over here. And he's like, he wanted me to tell you that he found some prospects for your what was the word he used? Employees. If you like, he bring them over tonight.
Well, sweet.
With that, Makai and Sinestra, I need you each to roll D100 3 times.
Oh no.
I got this. Don't worry.
Should have stayed in bed.
I
Oh, a
just,
fucking 100.
Damn. No, 7.
I just have. Oh, there's my fucking pencil.
I should have stayed at the beach. I should have slept on the beach.
We got some shitty rolls, don't we?
I should have been found naked by a sailor.
So we got
and
two
think I was a mermaid and be like, oh my god, she's so beautiful.
got 2 turds and 2 gods. And then a couple people who are like, yeah, we're mid range.
We're getting half orcs.
All right, so what we have a 45.
Should all be elves.
We have a
I asked specifically for elves. If they don't know what
100,
a fucking elf is.
a 7.
Sin, you didn't say pureblood elves. We're gonna get a half
Oh,
They're
circle.
half elf?
kind of elves.
Yeah.
As long as they have elf in them.
Okay.
That's
And then
racist.
No, I just asked that for that specifically because that's what I asked for.
all right, I have that marked here, and that will be the fun little bit of interaction we have when we hit them. With that, we have those two. Adric came by. He said, "Yeah, Orshik will be by here later." He doesn't give you a time frame. He just says in the evening. He doesn't tell you what time in the evening.
Okay, so
And he
I
starts
will
walking off
I will
before you
make
say
my
anything
goal
else.
to be back by 5.
Okay.
I will tell him I have business to do during the day. Around 5 or 6.
He as he's walking away, he reaches into his pocket and he's like fiddling with something, and he like waves his hand behind him as like, like yeah, I heard you. And as he waves his hand, he has a turkey leg in his hand, and he just brings down his face. And
Motherfucker!
he's like just eating as he's walking off.
I was about to take that turkey leg.
So you just gonna let him walk off, or you gonna try and catch him?
I'm gonna try to catch him, and I'll say, bring some more food with you.
He says, "Oh, you hungry?"
Oh yeah.
I'll go. And he reaches down into his pants and fiddles around a bit, and it pulls his hand out. And as he does, another turkey leg comes out of his hand. And he goes, "There you go."
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Oh yes,
Turkey
thank you.
leg, or are you just happy to see me?
It's
Oh my god, I am so happy to
perfectly
see.
cooked, and it's got a nice little glaze of like barbecue sauce on it.
How
And they
did
just,
you do this?
are you asking him that?
I want to know his secret now.
He goes, "I got this," and he reaches down in his pants again. He goes, "Hold on, hold on," and he like gets his
Bag of
whole
holding.
arm down his pants, like down to his elbow, and yeah, I got it. And he holds up a little velvet purplish looking pouch, and what looks to be crudely sewn to the side of it, an imagery of a pork chop is embroidered on the side of it. He goes, "I got a snack bag."
A snack bag? Is
I
that
want
a
a
fucking
snack bag. Where did you
portable
get that?
barbecue hole?
Where did you get a snack bag? That's amazing.
It belonged to me great 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 granddad.
And you just put as many snacks in there as you want, or did they just come out on their own?
No, you think of what you want, and then you reach out, and he opens the bag up, and it's maybe like 4 or 5 inches wide, and he just shoves his whole burly fucking arm down it, up to the elbow, and then pulls it out, and there's like a spare rack of barbecue ribs in his hand.
Oh
Oh
my
my
god.
god. Oh my god.
He
I
says,
want one.
he says, "I can get finger foods out here," and he
You're
throws the
you're
ribs at you.
rich.
I'm gonna catch the ribs. I'm gonna catch the ribs. This is amazing.
Okay, so it's easy enough. I mean, it's like a solid half rack, and these aren't like these little dinky like fucking Chili's or
Half of
Arby's
the
ribs.
cow's ribs.
These are like straight up like 8-inch long fucking ribs,
Oh
my
my
God.
god.
and there's 6 of them in a row here. And he's like, and he just clearly tells you finger foods. He thinks of a finger food he wants, and he can pull it out of his pouch.
Okay. Eventually, I'm gonna need to get one of those.
And he says, "Can I help you? My great 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 granddad's dead."
It's fine. I'm gonna figure this out.
and he takes the bag tightens it tight again, and shoves it back down his fucking pants again. And then, like, as he pulls his hands out, he
Is
realizes his
amazing.
hands had like barbecue sauce all over him, and he's like, "Oh, Bosic's gonna be pissed." And he starts rubbing his hand like on his shirt, just making it fucking worse.
Flick it off.
And it's like getting tangled in his beard and shit. And he's like, "Oh, Beth."
Well, I'm gonna. Is there any water nearby?
No, you're in the middle of the street. Well, I mean, not in the middle of the street, but you're on the side of the street. And by the way, as this is all going down, the street's starting to get busy at this hour in the morning. So, like, people walking by, some kids walk by and watch him just, like, shove his hand down his pants. And they're just like, "Look at that, Mo!" And the
Okay,
mothers are, like,
I'm-
covering the kids'
I'm,
eyes.
I'm gonna I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna go back inside. Want the turkey leg?
Wait, who are
I'm
you
eating
asking?
these ribs.
So he comes back into the tap room. He has a large turkey leg. It's like Renaissance fair turkey leg, just slathered in barbecue sauce.
Oh,
And a half rack of ribs.
And he's got a half rack of ribs in the other hand. And
fuck yeah, I want a turkey leg.
but
It's a
by the
turkey
way,
leg.
Sinestra, to hold these ribs and like not have them slip out of your hand, you have to like tuck them under your arm.
Aw,
You just
come on! I can't just have them in my palm.
I mean, they're fucking big. You want to try and hold them? Make a dex check and see if you can hold on to
Can
them.
I hold them with
Oh,
the
no!
wind?
You want to try and hold them with the wind?
I don't want to get my clothes dirty.
Make an Arcana check.
Oh, that also look good.
Nope.
You try to hold them with the wind, and you almost drop, and you're like, "Oh shit!" And you like grab on and reach, like basically fall to the dirt to like grab them before they hit the dirt, and now you've got a bunch of dirt and shit all over your robes, your clothing.
Damn it!
You think to yourself, barbecue over the street probably isn't a good idea. I need those baskets these guys are had making.
Yeah, I was about to say, Leif, do we have a plate or something? Maybe the neighbors have a plate I could borrow.
So you're asking Leif, and there's like he pops up, and just his head starts coming out of the thing, and he looks up at you, and he just like shakes his head no, and then goes away again.
Wait, we have to buy plates?
Damn it!
There behind the bar is just there are about 3 dozen cups that they look pristine and clean. There are about 5 dozen cups that are just covered in dirt, grime, dust, bugs, or whatever that you tried to like sweep off. Half of those are cracked and broken. There's a couple of like serving decanters and like steel pitchers and stuff. There are no plates.
We're gonna have to make
Um,
a side trip after visiting the druids to buy plates.
okay,
Cups.
I'm gonna I'm gonna I'm gonna take the half rack and I'm gonna break it into part of it in each of my hands.
Okay.
Okay, and I'm going to then
What'd you do with the turkey leg while you're doing this?
Makai's got it.
Oh, so you
I
have
just
turkey
tossed it at her.
Okay. Makai, did you catch the turkey leg?
Hard toss. I just kind
yeah.
of like hit.
Oh, I didn't know you tossed it at me. I was gonna grab it from you.
Okay, so you're taking
I
it.
thought
From
you had grabbed it.
Okay, so she took the turkey leg from you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm gonna break the ribs in half. I'm gonna start I'm gonna just mow down on one side, and then I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go upstairs really really quickly
Okay.
and knock on Zerio's door.
Okay. It's a moment where he comes and he's like, "Can you let me get some pants on or something?"
I mean, yeah. Sorry, me again. Here's some ribs.
He looks at you and looks at the ribs and takes her home to like register. Like, where did you get ribs at? Oh, where's this? Where did you get ribs
Don't
in the
worry about
morning?
They're amazing. I just ate some. They're great. Here's some ribs. Um, and ready to go for the day and everything. Do you mind maybe getting some like for the tap room? maybe like more glasses and whatnot. And then I'll give him like 20 gold.
So you're asking him to go get servingware for you?
I mean, we need stuff to put food on and whatnot.
You guys,
Our
yeah, he takes the rib stream and goes, the gold's in his hand, he takes the rib stream and he looks at the gold, looks at the ribs and goes, he turns and puts the gold down on the thing, starts like gnawing at the ribs. He's, these are good, yeah. And he's like, mutters a incantation and he suddenly looks like a clothed wood elf. He picks the coin purse up and just walks past you and starts going out the door.
and then I'm gonna go downstairs and like, all right, we're going to the druids.
Okay. I offered
All right.
Olm some turkey.
And I took some.
By the way, because I got
Really
dirt all
fucking
over my
good.
clothes.
You got barbecue
So-
sauce all over the fucking doors and everything as you're going, by the way.
That's fine.
I take
We-
out
we
my
will
loot
clean
and
that
I
later.
start casting prestidigitation all over it.
So you're just like singing a cleaning song.
Yeah.
That's really nice.
So are you just cleaning the room?
My room too.
I clean the tap room, and then I see a Sinestro. I walk up to him and I clean it.
Okay. I was gonna say, so you see Olm singing a song, it's like humming a little song about cleaning as he's strumming on his lute, and the room suddenly starts becoming clean, and you think to yourself, fuck, I'm still dirty.
Oh,
Before he finally comes over and cleans you off as well.
much. I might have to ask you to do that in my room later.
You sure you want that? Or
Just take me out to
crack-addled
dinner
soap
first.
elementals?
But we're going to the druids, and I'm just gonna, like once he's done doing his thing, I'm gonna hurry him along because I'm excited about this. Like I want to see if we can do this, can make him change into something else or whatever.
Before we go, I go, oh, hold on, and I look down. Sorry, girls, you need to go back in, and I shift back into Edward.
But you were female? I thought you were male. Did you
Only
shift to female?
Only on the road. I was born female.
I am so confused.
Welcome
female,
to
it's fine.
literal gender fluidity.
Makai shrugs. I need to tell Lacuna where we're going, because I think she is still
She's still
like,
moping up in her room.
moping
Mope.
about Leon.
I'll just say, hey, Leif, when Lacuna comes down, tell her we went to the druids.
I mean, she could. We need to go shopping.
Shopping?
Oh,
Shopping.
she wanted to know.
My
Let
eyes
her know.
brighten.
She wants to read her books.
Shopping mends broken hearts. I'm telling you. Clothes, chocolate, all that good stuff.
I kind of perk up a little bit.
A very faint voice comes drifting from upstairs. I'm not broken hearted.
Yes, you are!
I'm gonna send a sending spell right to Lacuna, and it's just gonna be a broken heart song that's 25 letters, 25 characters.
I slammed the door angrily with all the hatred and rage my teenage heart could muster. Why? Why?
I'm curious. What is the song?
What
Oh
is
my
it,
god,
like
you need
25
to
letters?
come up with like 25-second clips of songs to play for your bard.
But, like 25 word
Yeah, 25
broken hearted song.
25 word broken hearted song.
The hardest part about being a bard, by the way.
I am legitimately in my head hearing someone playing Whitney Houston's rendition of "I Will Always Love You" and like me, the
That's
bard.
acceptable.
Lacuna, come buy chocolate and clothes. I'm so bored. I need company.
I peek my head around the corner. My eyes are obviously swollen because I've been crying. I'm not sure. Lacuna is not sure why she's crying. right? Because she's never really dealt with any of this before. She just
Mhm.
knows that she's really unhappy and she wants to spread the unhappiness with a fucking shovel right now.
I'm
But
telling you.
but the lure of chocolate is bringing her out.
All right. If she's not coming, I will be your stand-in Lacuna.
Oh my god, are you gonna disguise yourself as Lacuna? Are you
Let's
sure
get
you're
some
not a
freaking chocolate.
Are you sure you're not a changeling? Lacuna, you need to come downstairs.
I look at this and I just change into as much as I can into Laguna as
Oh my god.
I start
Wait, wait,
walking
wait, wait,
downstairs with a
wait,
really pouty face.
I'm gonna turn into a cat and okay, you have to carry me and then you will be Lacuna. So I'm gonna use a wild shape and turn into a cat.
I
all
start
right. I
walking.
lean down and I pick up Makai after she's a Laguna and I start petting and loving on her.
I start walking
And like,
downstairs and I walk into the room and I see all the shit that just happened.
So you walk into the room, and there is what appears to be you standing there, sans a tail. Um, you standing there, a little taller than you normally are, maybe like 6 inches or so taller, and what looks like, what kind of cat are you?
I'm just gonna be a black fuzzy fur ball. Like fat, fluffy.
A black fluffy puffball in the arms
weighs
of
140 pounds.
No.
a tailless you.
About time you came down, dear. We were worried about you.
I scream in fear.
Even had to get another one of you.
I'll just meow, 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 meow.
I'm
She
holding
missed
Cookie.
you.
I'm holding Cookie, like tucked underneath my arm, and I literally turn around and start running up the stairs screaming for someone to come help me. My traveling group has been overtaken by evil shapeshifters, and I don't know what to do. Because I don't think I don't think Lacuna really knows the extent of Olm's ability. So as far as she knows, she just walked downstairs and her evil doppelganger is standing there, minus a tail, holding
I think we broke her.
holding a somewhat familiar but I can't quite place it cat, and I am scared out of my fucking mind. Oh my god! Oh my god! What the hell is happening?
You went back up to your room.
I'm like running. I'm literally running around the house. I have lost my ever fucking
I'll
ever
try.
loving mind.
I'll try and chase her down and like jump on her.
I'll
Ah!
chase
Oh
you
my
down.
god! Oh my god! He's
Um,
okay.
And I'll
Cookie,
just purr.
Cookie.
I'll purr and meow, 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 and purr.
I hold Cookie out and thrust it towards Makai. I don't know it's Makai. Cookie, attack! Oh my god, it's gonna kill him.
Are you having Cookie actually attack her?
Yes, I am because I am scared out of
Oh
my mind.
no!
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna run after Makai and I'm look.
Okay. Um, how are you having Cookie attack?
Acid.
I have 2 hit points. Just a heads up.
Okay,
Guys.
roll a d4 and add a +4 to hit.
Oh shit! Hold on.
And I believe your AC is less when you're in kitty cat form too.
I have 12 AC.
Wait, am I rolling or is she?
You're rolling. You do d4 or a d20 +4 to hit. Oh yeah, that's 100% gonna hit. And I believe it's 1d6 +2 damage. So, Makai, as you're chasing after her and trying to gain her attention and your frantic little kitty cat kitten form and thinking, oh, I'm just being adorable. She's not going to do anything to me. Lacuna turns in a frantic daze and holds Cookie out and says, Cookie, get her! And Cookie, and a gout of acid sprays over your little feline body. You scream in pain as the acid clings to your little fur and tries to pull away. Then suddenly you're back as Makai, and you still scream in pain as the tidbits of acid still clinging to your flesh, and you take 6 points of acid damage.
Oh. Oh wait, so 2 acid would kill the cat, so I would
Two?
take 4 as Makai,
No,
right?
she did 8 damage to you total, so the cat takes 2
Oh
of it,
yes.
and you
So
take 6.
I run up behind Makai and go, "Oh my god, Makai, are you alright?"
I'm fine. I'm fine.
So,
I'm
Lacuna,
gonna come up there and go, bad Cookie. Why would you do that?
I frantically scoop up Cookie and like hold her really close to me. Just my eyes are like wide in terror.
Makai
Alright,
suddenly
guys.
appears in front of you, screaming in pain as Cookie's acid is like clinging to her flesh.
I scream back just as loud. I'm so scared right now.
Alright, guys. Drop the disguises. You're freaking her out.
I shift back into Edward.
I
As-
also shipped into Edward.
Oh my god.
So, as you are, as you declare, guys, drop the disguises. A wood elf is walking down the back steps of the building here, holding a coin pouch in his hand. Turns, sees you guys. He's like chewing on a bit of jerky or ribs, and goes, "Okay," from the mouth, and there's suddenly Zuru standing there, just stark naked, holding a coin pouch.
Oh my god.
Now what?
Oh my god, I wasn't talking about you, Zuriel.
I dropped my disguise completely because I'm now shocked by the hilarity of all of it. And I'm just gonna bust out laughing.
He goes, "Oh, oh, okay." He tosses the coin pouch in the air. There's a few intricate gestures with his free hand, and then suddenly he looks like a clothed wood elf again, catches the coin pouch, and continues
Oh my god.
casually walking down the sidewalk like nothing's wrong.
Makai's
Now-
in
now
tears,
here's the moment of
laughing
truth.
and in pain.
I hold Makai close. I'm trying to give as much emotional support.
Okay, so now here's the moment of truth. I'm gonna turn to Makai and say, "So how do you do?" Is he
It's just-
average, bigger, smaller?
I'll shrug.
My eyes are like taking up half of my face at this point. I'm just like I'm holding Cookie so protectively, and I'm like my back is against the wall, and I'm starting to try to like I'm looking around to see if I can make an escape. Like, is there a window I can jump out of, or
Oh my
can I just like while no one's paying attention? Oh my god! Whatever the D&D version of Jesus Christ, I can't do it.
That would be Titania, by the way.
It's
I'm not calling on any of your fucking patrons. And I
It's
know
been
better now.
it's been a traumatizing week so far for little Lacuna here.
Lacuna. Makai's still in tears from laughing.
Don't touch me!
You need to go shopping with
In my head, I'm hearing this as like almost like a one of us. And I'm like, I'm convinced
I'm
that they're all like,
I'm gonna
they're-
change
they-
it into Makai, and I'm gonna look at Lacuna and go, "One of us."
where's the nearest window from where I'm
You'd have to go around to the front of the building or to an adjacent building nearby. I'm going to move you guys to the alleyway map here.
Areas.
So you guys were all basically at the back corner of the house here. I have to get an Alm token. I'll have to update your token image for Alm and for Kai.
Oh my, I'm not that large. I'm not that small either.
You are now. Anyway, so you guys are all basically hanging out back here. Lacuna, you are kind of like stuck between the crook of the building here. There is a little, maybe 3 foot wide alleyway between the two buildings. There's a little bit of overhang on the top of the building here that makes it look like it's connected, but there's about a 3 foot, 4 foot wide alleyway between the two buildings. You're in the alleyway, just like clinging against the opposing building, trying to figure out, looking for some sort of escape route. And the building you are staring at is Trollskull Manor. There are no windows on this side of the building. Um, the building you were leaning against, to your left, about 5 feet up, there is a window. That you don't know what that building is that you are leaning against.
Oh my god, Sin, what are you gonna do?
Am I trapped on both sides?
No, there's
Doesn't-
the group is here. Well, this guy walked off. He turned into a naked dark elf and then turned back into a closed wood elf and then walked off, eating barbecue with a coin pouch in his hand. Um, the rest of them are all just kind of standing here staring at you as you are in the alleyway.
So I can come out the other side.
Yeah, you could run out the other side, away from everybody if that's what you wanted to do.
I fucking book it.
Okay.
I'm just gonna yell after her. We'll be visiting the druids if you ever get out of whatever that is.
Lacuna, I need you to make a dexterity check for me. Because until recently, the alleyway you're walking down was massively overgrown by the combined effort of Makai and Sinestra. There are still some tumbleweeds and stuff clinging to the little bits of
Oh
dirt.
I haven't
no!
cleaned that alleyway out.
I'll have to
So
call
unfortunate.
the Mephits again.
So you
The
go,
ones
Oh,
running down to try and get away from them. Your foot snags on a root. You don't fall on your face, but it like trips you up a bit, and you stumble a bit, and you pause for a moment. You're standing there, and you're like, "I just can't fucking win!" And then you bolt down south, away from everybody.
I'm changing back into Edward, and after that, I think we've broken her.
broker. Let's go to the druids.
Yeah, we really need to go to Lacuna. We're going to the Druids. We were trying to cheer you up.
It's okay. She'll think she'll laugh on this later. Let's leave her to her script.
I'll buy you chocolate, Lacuna. I'll buy you chocolate.
Her screams are starting to get like more and more musical as she starts just like.
The bardic training is starting to come through. Soon I'll be hitting Celine Dion notes.
Oh dear. So with that, it is now mid-morning after you guys have spent the better part of 30 minutes fucking with Lacuna. Lacuna, you are essentially in the alleyway between a bunch of buildings here, just utterly fucking confused. The three of you, are you guys going shopping now, or are you going right to Falconmere Manor?
I think we were gonna go to the Druids first. And
Yeah, I
then,
think that was the plan.
and then shopping after.
How are you making your way to the Druids?
I'm gonna flag down a carriage slash whatever.
I'm sticking very close to Makai so I don't get lost again and end up in Cat Alley.
So, you go north out of Trollskull Alley, making your way along till you reach one of the parallel main streets here. I'm gonna put you guys back on the massively oversized Waterdeep map because I know how much you love the Waterdeep map.
Huge.
So you go down Sardone Street to Windborne Way. You manage to flag down one of the coaches. He takes you south down to Delzarn Street and rides you across over to the seaward side of the city over toward the Shrines of Nature where Falconmere Manor is currently set up. I'm gonna grab. Is that the three of you? Yeah, I'm gonna murder Sandor's token off the map because he's no longer present.
You murdered him.
He
Is
got
he officially
deleted.
dead?
You don't know what happened to him.
Just gonna assume he's dead.
Just like you don't know what happened to Thalon, And you don't know what happened to, to Savra, and you don't know what happened to Sendor.
I know what happened to Thalin.
No, you know he left the spires where you guys were at in the dungeon. You know he left for Savra. You don't know where he went or what he did.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I can guess
I
what
don't
he
think we
did.
care anymore.
Anyway,
Sister.
you guys make your way over here toward Falkmere Manor and the shrines of nature, the Druidic shrines. It is from what you can tell on the outside of it, there are finely hewn dark iron fences. They have almost a brass bronze tint to them, but it's closer to black than brown. I mean, it kind of dances between it, and the iron itself looks as though it's been bent or molded to look almost as though it's alive, like vines that are just made the fence, though it's clearly made of some kind of metal that is encasing
All right.
this garden.
What happened?
We made it to Falconmere. He's describing it.
Okay.
There is the main estate house home that you went through on the northern side of this little island, essentially, of nature in the middle of the city. The southern side of it, you do know, is one of, it's basically like a boarding house kind of thing.
Well, this is Falconmere.
I point to the northern side. That's where I stayed when I was here.
Oh,
Yeah, Seaward. Fun times.
it's
You're cutting out, Sin.
druids.
Yes.
Like the
We
spot.
are.
You know, it makes me very comfortable.
Really?
Oh,
No?
I'm getting there though. I'm slowly becoming
What, a druid?
comfortable.
Warlock druid?
I don't think I'll ever be a druid.
Okay. Never know.
Who knows? Maybe Titania wants me to be a druid.
You'll never know. Anyway, you're here. What are you doing?
Well, this is Falconmere. I don't know why you needed to talk with the druids, but we're here. And I'll show you guys
Okay.
later.
Oh, you take Om. I'm just gonna go talk to Titania. Oh, you again.
I didn't see your second message.
Alrighty.
Or your cold one.
Yeah, I put it in the fridge earlier.
I didn't know.
Okay.
Right.
I'll tell Makai that when I was last here, I saved a little golden at Cilia. I wonder if she's still here.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I'll show him into the manor.
You go to the main entryway and having been here several times and being a member of one of the various druid circles that are occupying the city here itself, you are essentially, it's an open door to you, Makai, so it's fairly welcome. They know who you are. You step inside, and Melanor, the is basically the groundskeeper of the estate here, greets you. Hello, Makai.
Hello,
Edward,
Melanor.
are you all right?
I'm seeing better days.
And she comes over and like basically like puts an arm on your shoulder arm and grabs you, takes you by your elbow, and very gently, gingerly guides you into the center of the building and sets you down in a sitting, what looks like a sitting room that is at the crossroads of the this building. It's the building itself has got a main pathway that runs from the front to all the way back to the garden, and then there's a slightly thinner hallway that runs parallel to that, perpendicular to that, that has the various rooms and stuff. One of the rooms that you had stated when you were previously there is off of this chamber. In the middle of this crossroad is a what looks to be a sitting area. It's there's a large glass dome above you that lets in all the sunlight. Various plants are hanging from the ceiling here and there, giving it a very open theme while still being indoors. It has this kind of like it's a serene nature. It's relaxing. There's a nice cup of or a pot of tea that appears to just be boiling. You don't know why it's boiling. There's nothing sitting on it, but it's just on a little metal dish in the middle of the table, and there's just a little steam coming off of it. Several cups are upturned, sitting on plates around it. She just guides you to a seat and sets you down, pours you a cup of tea, and puts it in front of you.
Thank you.
She gestures for you to come closer to Kai and pours a cup of tea and sets it down at one of the seats nearby and just motions for you to sit down.
I'll go sit and take a cup.
So, what brings you here?
My acquaintance, Edward, um, was looking to inquire about a child that he assisted. I didn't catch her name.
Celia?
She's playing in the garden, dear.
I smile, said, that's good. And one other reason I'm not well.
She kind of cocks an eyebrow and says, why don't you go talk to Jareth? They're out in the garden.
I nod and I finish the tea and say thank you.
Just be careful. And she just goes about cleaning up the table after you guys leave.
Which way is the garden, Makai?
Ah, this way. And I'll take him to the garden.
You step out into you, Makai. Every time you come here, it's jarring. The difference between coming from the street out into this garden itself. It's almost as if stepping through a portal. Um, because of it's you go from the clean manicured streets and ordered of the city to just wild overgrowth. There are plants here from you are know very damn well that none of the trees that are in this garden are native to the area here, but they seem to be thriving just fine, clinging to their life. They're growing quite heavily, and it's kind of unnerving being in here, um, even as a druid yourself, because you know that looking up, those trees are rising higher than what they look like from outside the fence. Beyond that,
Druid magic.
it's a verdant forest, overgrown. Life is buzzing about. In the center of this forest, there is a neat, trimmed little gazebo set up with benches and a table set in the middle of it. And Jareth is sitting there at a one of the seats at the table, sipping some sort of drink. You can't tell from where you are now, and just watching one of the flower fields off. That's a little bit out of your view, but from the laughter you hear there, you think that's probably where the young girl is playing out there. She's just keeping an eye on the girl.
I'll greet Jareth. I
I'll
believe I'm
follow.
She turns.
and
Makai, dear, I was getting worried about you. You're a little late on your report. Is everything well?
everything is actually well for once.
Oh, that's good. Any news on the imbalance over in the Red Lodge?
None yet. We actually still need to make our way there since I've met up with these adventurers.
Right, well, it's important to make yourself comfortable and assimilate into the group. It's this. There's some haste, some urgency need to be done. The imbalance between things as it stands threatens to do more damage than we had originally anticipated.
Yes, ma'am.
What brings you here then?
My acquaintance, Edward, I believe is a Celia. He had rescued her and was actually looking to see if she was fine and actually inquiring to meet with you. And I'll motion for Olm to step forward.
And I do. I said, it's nice to see you again, ma'am.
Edward dear, you look unwell. Is everything fine?
I shake my head no. There's something wrong, and I'm not exactly sure what.
Sin, you got an open mic, buddy. We hear your plate. um, she pulls you forward out of the gazebo and sits you down into the field of flowers. And as she steps into the field, the flowers around you begin to bloom. And she pays it no mind, and it's just a sweet, calming scent fills the air, and it's relaxing to you. It's the all your worries start to slowly melt away, and you calm a little bit, and you find yourself a little more soothed. That nagging ache in your skull fades a little bit, and she sits down next to you among the flowers and gently runs her hand along your cheek and takes a look at you, looking
Go
in your
into the
eyes.
light.
Runs her hands through your hair and, oh, I see. Um, I fear your trauma is more mental than physical, Edward dear.
I take a deep breath and I say, well, at least I'm, I guess that'll fade eventually.
She smiles warmly, lovingly at you, and just runs her finger gently over where the wound had been on your skull. And there's a slight warming to her touch. "Hmm, perhaps." And she gets up and just goes and walks into the tree line. Don't know where the hell she went. She just walked into the tree line. Sinestra, how are you entering the garden?
I mean, I'll probably just follow them.
All right, so you followed them into the house then?
I'm just gonna, kind of stop off at a spot that looks like it.
Looking
I'm not gonna
around.
drown if, or anything.
Yeah, like-
Titania has a nice little pranks on me.
As you enter the garden, you see Mackay and Edward walking toward the center of it, and you hear some sort of little chuckle, a giggle that's faintly familiar off to your left amongst the trees.
Look over there.
You look over in that direction, and from what you can tell, there's a little flit of light between the trees. You're not sure if it's just the clouds and the sunlight playing tricks on your eyes, or if there's something really there or
Oh boy. I know what this is. All right, I'm following the light.
not. All right, you step toward there. As you go in the direction, there is a small little grove of trees that's almost circular, and it meets up against the fence, and you can see the exterior, the town itself from where you're at. Flowers are clinging to the fence here and there, but the sounds that you expect to be coming, drowning from the streets outside, are blocked, almost as if there is a wall between the two of you. Stepping into the clearing, a faint humming comes to your ears, and a warming sensation floods your body. And then suddenly everything seems a little bit brighter. The trees a little more vibrant, and you look around and then you look back and the street's gone. In that direction you see trees. Almost a wall of trees. As flowers peek up in vines between here and there. And you hear more laughter and creatures stirring about in the underbrush from behind to the left of you. As you stir
More
about,
laughter. I gotta find out. I'm a curious guy.
as you stir about and you try and get your direction as to where you want to be, you turn around, you're just turning, step, making a circuit, looking around. And as you turn and look back to where you previously were looking, there is a small little stone table set in front of you. Upon it sits
The
a
seat at
dish.
that table.
Upon the little stone table sits a dish and what looks to be a lone tiger lily growing out of the dish, and most glass-like water sitting in the bowl this lily appears to be growing out of.
Okay. So, just to make sure, would I know what that tiger lily means?
Um, the lily itself is typically used as a marker for what is a safe haven, a mark of information, or a drop-off pickup of like a dead drop point, basically, for those that are of the Summer Fae or the Summer associated with the Summer Court as you are, or
Yeah.
it is a point for an emissary to basically have a relay or a contact point. You have seen these before, and they are basically little shrines where you can have a moment. Typically, you are allowed to have a few minutes. And what you have is the lily itself represents the time that you have available to convey or ask your questions and get your information. The lily currently is in full bloom as if it's at the peak of its life, and as you are thinking this over and it's, ticking in your mind, the blooms, the petals in the lily slowly begin to curl inward as if it's beginning to close.
Yeah, I'm gonna do this quick. I want to for some information. I want to know the nature of changeling magic, way to force a change, like the lack of a change. Too. And then I also want to know moments would cause a changeling to no longer be able to change. That's it.
How are you wording this?
Oh.
You need to actually ask these questions.
How do I need to ask them? Like, does it need to be formal or like?
It's entirely up to you.
Um, just gonna put in like a request kind of list, right?
Okay.
Request, and then list out the information I need.
There is a pause. The air itself becomes very still, and these ambient noises you were hearing around you suddenly cease. It's unnerving, and the time draws on. It's almost as if you hear a clock ticking, like tick, 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 and then suddenly it all rushes back to you, and there's a buzzing, a whirling, moving through, and there's a little golden light that just starts spinning around you, and then it sits on the edge of the bowl, and sitting in front of you is a small little pixie wreathed in a golden light, wearing a dress that looks to be sewn of some sort of pink flower, though you can't quite gather what it is from the way that she's fashioned it, and reaches down and reaches into the bowl, and as it pulls its hand out of the bowl, it's holding a little cup, and it just sips the water and turns to you. And it's sitting on the edge of the bowl, kicking its feet, holding the cup between its two hands, and just looking up at you expectantly, waiting.
Oh, do I need to drink?
You don't know.
No. Can I ask it what it expects of me?
You can try to ask what it expects of you.
Yeah. I will try and ask.
What are you saying to this little creature?
Would you like of me?
Cocks its head, looks at you, squints his eyes a little bit, and opens his mouth to speak, and then closes as if in thought. And then opens his mouth again, and what should be a voice sounds like the tingle of bells.
Do I understand any of this?
It just sounds like bells to you.
I'm gonna cast tongues and see if I can understand it.
As you go through and you cast your tongue spell, there's a little bit of laughter that tickles through your mind, and it's, you only need to drink. You don't need to expend magic.
Well, so I will drink.
Alright, as you take a drink, it's the spell tongues you cast fades. The enchantments on you fade. There's a as you are suddenly standing in the grass. All magics that you had present and active have ceased.
Okay.
The little pixie smiles at you and says, "Your quest 3 you have for me. What is this information worth to thee?"
What?
It wants to know what you. It's trying to bargain for the information, basically.
Phase don't
Oh,
give
what
shit
it's-
for free.
Oh no, I know. I knew what I was getting into when I did this. Okay. I mean, it's not worth an immense amount to me right now. It's more of a muse.
It smiles at you after a brief moment. "What do you plan to do with this information?" And it's just playing
Oh.
with the water as it's talking to you.
Is partially intended to assist a acquaintance of mine.
Mm-hmm.
Rest is just my own morbid or not so morbid curiosity.
Laughter echoes in your mind, and it sounds again like little bells jingling on the sides of the streets. And I'll tell you this: emotions drive a changeling's skills and powers. When they are firm and steady upon their stand, sure in who they are and what they be, then their forms change to their whim. When they are unsure of who they are or what they do, there is some struggle in who they are and what they do.
Yeah.
As for how they do it, well, they're not of our world, are they? This, I don't know.
But we don't know how they do it, but it's based on their emotion.
It's basically the mental state of the changeling, is what she's telling
Got
you.
it.
And there's the pixie comes over and just starts digging through your coat, like looking for things. It's like rifling through your pockets now. After a few minutes, it comes back, and there is a bit of glee and joy in its face, and it's holding the bell that you stole.
Well, I didn't steal it. They gave it to me.
It's holding the bell, and it looks at you and looks at the bell, smiles, and then it's gone.
Oh, that was like the perfect trade. Oh my god.
As you look down, watching the picture, you look back down. The lily that was on the plate, the bowl is now dried up, and the lily is a shriveled husk.
I removed the bell from my equipment. The perfect, because I just want to do a little mischief and some curious and a little bit, and I'm a little curious. And that bell was exactly what that was. I just wanted to do some mischief.
Where the hell did you steal a bell from?
So you remember when you guys were in the Mage Tower, that Wizards Guild,
He didn't steal it. It was given to him, though.
and that bell you guys hit that went dum 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 that echoed the entire building?
The secretary gave it to him because she
He
didn't
got the
want
bell.
anyone else to play with it.
They gave him the bell. He requested the bell, and she gave it to him.
I did take it. That's where I got the bell.
But now the pixie has the bell.
Oh
And the
god.
pixie is gonna be my best friend.
Oh my god, this bitch is gonna be ringing this bell in your bedroom at 4 a.m. and I live across the
Fine.
hallway from you. And if I hear this shit,
I'm
I don't
setting the
see-
tavern on fire.
just letting you know, there's gonna
It's
be
not gonna
like,
bother me at all. You
a
guys have fun
leopard
with
at your
that.
door.
You don't know I have it, so you don't even know. You won't even know what's going on.
I'm just saying, if I get woken up at 4 in the morning by some loud ass pixie bell, Makai gonna be mad.
Oh, I mean, you won't know who to put that anger towards. So
By the way, Sinestra, when it took the bell, it smacked the bell like 5 or 6 times. You didn't hear anything when it happened.
oh, oh no.
Does that mean that that bell is only bound to that tower?
Tower.
Sinestra, it occurs to you that maybe it might be
Oh,
bound to
no.
that one building. You don't know how far the connection is or how close you have to be for it to work, but whatever happened when the pixie took the bell from you, the joy that lit up on its face is like that of a child on Christmas Eve finding a mountain of presents there.
Oh my
The
god.
joy that
Now
was on
I'm
its face
happy.
when it hit the button like several times over was like that times 100.
The pixie's still here.
It's gone.
Oh, okay. I would if I would have realized it at like when it was still there. I would have been like, one last press. Ding! I'm so happy that that pixie has the bell now.
With that, as you have a moment of satisfaction and the idea of this image of chaos tickles your thoughts and you have some amusement to it all and it runs through your head that bit of satisfaction. You hear that faint laughter, that giggle that is Titania echoing in your mind as if approving of this little bargain that just occurred.
Yes.
And you turn back to go to leave this area. As you turn around, you find yourself leaving the Feywild and once more within the garden of Falconmere Manor.
It was so amazing. Okay. Woo. This big giant smile on my face, and I'm walking around the garden. I'm just gonna go try to find Olm and Makai.
It's Makai, you guys are sitting in the flower garden here. Edward, as you are sitting there, the little girl Celia comes running back over and she sees you sitting there and she has a wreath of flowers made. And she gently sits it on your head, adjusts it, looks at you, smiles and giggles a little bit, and then runs back off into whatever the hell she was doing. As
She's
she's,
supposed to be here.
you don't know, it's a little elven girl, ran out, put a wreath of flowers on Edward's head, giggled a bit, and then ran back off into God knows where into the garden here.
That's what I was asking him.
Yeah, she's supposed to be here.
She's
No.
part of the druids, or is she yours?
No, no children here. She's the kid I saved before I came to Waterdeep.
You don't have kids, and she's just part of the druids.
Pretty much.
But
She's part of the druids.
I was just gonna ask if you wanted her to work at the tap room.
Oh my god, no. Sin.
Hey, she's
as-
a nice kid.
As you are saying this, what was her name again? I'm blind. Jareth comes back and she has a small little woven basket full of various plants and whatnot. No, I believe that one will be staying here, Sinestra. And she sits down cross-legged in front of with this basket of things. She takes Edward's face again and pulls it closer, and she's very gently holding you. Both of her hands, your head is basically sitting in her hands, your chin sitting between her palms, and she's just looking you in your eyes and taking careful gauge of your person. And she lets go and waves her hand, and the flowers just kind of like part in the ground. And a little stone bowl begins to slowly mold itself out of the earth. And she takes some of the plants out, cracks them apart, puts some seeds and a bit of the meat of the fruit in there, and reaches down into the ground and pulls off a little pedest and starts grinding things up until she makes a little paste of it. It's take 10, 15 minutes or so of doing it. You guys just watching her do this, or are you doing something else?
Definitely watching.
I'm gonna take the wreath off my head and take a look at it.
The wreath is made of a. You haven't seen this flower before. It's odd, almost luminescent and transparent at the same time. The petals begin at the base where the stem is and the stamen, It's almost white, kind of like a translucent, and then it goes and appears to be starry, and then a little bluish tip to it.
Nature check.
Yeah, I'll make a nature check too.
That's an 11.
It's rough.
I rolled my actual dice. If you didn't hear it.
I heard it.
I heard.
Makai, you are aware that these flowers, while they are, I mean, it's a flower, you get that much. They are not of the material plane. They are not any flower that you have seen here.
From the Feywilds.
It immediately hits you, Sinestro, looking at this thing. This is a flower that is blooming typically during the change of the midsummer and midwinter fest eves. These flowers bloom on either side of it as the power slowly wanes between summer and winter as the seasons go. Um, these are nightingale orchids. It's a flower that blooms primarily in the Feywild or only in the Feywild, and the fact that this little girl had a wreath woven of them is kind of,
Actually, kind of shocks me.
yeah, it's a little unnerving to you. Um, but nonetheless, she seems to be unbothered by it, and she's continuing to be just running about playing in the garden. There are about there's roughly a dozen of these flowers that are woven together. Um, just the various vines, the flower itself, the stems of them, the leaves have just been carefully woven and made into a wreath. It glows
I'm not
ever
gonna
so
say
slightly.
anything now, but before we leave, I'm gonna want to talk to Jareth.
Fair enough. Anyway, as you are looking at this thing, this little bouquet of flowers, um, it's I mean, it's flowers. Looking at them, it's comforting, almost as though you feel the embrace, the warm embrace of like a motherly hug wrapping around you as you're looking at it. It's odd. It's strange. It's nostalgic and reminiscent, but you can't quite place where it's pulling from, as
I'm
you
gonna tell
never knew your
he
actual
wants
mother.
to put them back on. He wants to put that back on.
So you said to
Sorry.
put it back on?
That's what Sinestro's telling
Yeah,
you.
I'm gonna tell you. You should put that back on.
I take a look, and then I took like another look back at the wreath, and I put it back.
Okay, put the wreath back on your head. Um, it's calming, relaxing. You feel, like I said, that nostalgic, motherly, most loving embrace as you set it back upon your head. It's comforting. Um, as you are examining this and looking over it, Jareth finishes making her little paste, and she licks her finger, puts it in the bowl, and swirls it around a little bit, and then takes two fingers and dips it, and runs it across your forehead, and runs it back along the skull or the scar on your head. And that crack that you've been feeling, that jarring, begins to mend and knit, and it's that same feeling that you had when the initial healing hit you, but it has this feeling of finality about it, as if something about this is settled. It's right. Things are back the way they need to be done.
Jareth, you need to teach me how to make that. I'm just sitting there like aptly watching, wide-eyed, because it's always like fascinating watching master druids pretty much do their craft.
She just
Master Druidi.
I'm
she
still
just
a baby
smiles at you,
druid.
and yeah, smiles at you and gives you a little grin and a wink. Um, with that, what are you guys doing?
I'm gonna take the wreath off my head and kind of look around. How many people are watching me right now?
Sinestra, Makai, and Jareth are currently sitting in this clearing with you.
With the crack in my head, I guess kind of healed. I'm gonna try to change back into my female elven.
It's almost instantaneous. The back is the way it should be.
Hey,
I look at Jareth and I say, I don't know what you've done, but I thank you dearly for it.
She smiles and says, "It's the least I can do for you, bringing back our little She turns and watches the ghost playing around and just smiles. Treasure. Back to us.
Yay, you're better.
Can I? You, Jareth?
One day I'll be a big druid too.
You want to talk to Jared? Is that what you said, Sinestra?
I just want to talk to her if she has the time on the side.
She gets up and makes a gestures of brushing herself off, and while she doesn't actually touch her clothing, all the dirt and dust that's on her just kind of like slowly pops off and drifts and settles into the dirt around her. She smiles at you and just nods and gestures over to a clearing off to the side and starts walking that direction.
I'm gonna follow her.
I'm gonna go over to Makai and say, we need to go shopping. I want something better than what I have.
Well, yeah, you're wearing dude clothes.
And there's holes in them. And I looked down and said, maybe not this form. I changed back into later.
Well, now that you can actually change without hurting yourself, I don't know if it hurt, but yeah.
Try to get some clothes that change with you.
Unfortunately, I don't think that happens with changelings. From what I remember.
Their clothes don't, but you do know that there are some forms of enchanted clothing that do appear to change. So,
Resize themselves.
maybe.
Ooh, yeah. You could get that so you don't have to worry about buying new clothes all the time.
Maybe, but I was thinking more along the lines of a dress.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, Sinestra, you are standing off in a clearing outside of earshot as the rest of the group. What are you trying to ask of this?
I'm just gonna ask. I'm gonna say this. I'm just gonna say I know child has been in the Feywilds.
You sound robotic, by the way, Sinestra.
Sorry. Am I still robot?
There you go. Now you're better.
I said I'm just gonna say I know that the child has been in the Feywilds.
She smiles and says, "As have you."
Yes, I have. I assume that someone is keeping her safe or something.
She smiles and says, the courts recognize this as a, let's call it neutral ground.
Okay. Then I'm not outraged. Because that is some dangerous shit. I'm not saying that, like that's in my head. She probably knows. I was like really close to being very concerned. And then I'll say, you called her a treasure. The child to you.
She nods.
Just nods after I said,
She
what
just
is the
nods.
child to you?
You said you called her a treasure. She just nods.
By the way, would it be okay if I come back? Maybe frequently.
She shrugs and says, Maliki tells me you mean no harm. She opens the path to the Feywild for all those to hold nature and those within it dear.
So basically, the trees are good to me.
As long as you don't fuck with anything in here, you're welcome to come back, is what she's telling you.
Oh, okay, cool. All right. I will thank her and then go back to Makai and. Oh, I'm so glad this is like the neutral ground because she could just get snatched up
Yep.
anything.
Yep.
And even the neutral Fae are technically
Chaotic. Yeah.
more than more like chaotic than anything. I'm still kind of concerned, but
I mean,
but
Makai would be aware that that Jareth is. I mean, she is an extremely powerful druid. There are whispers within the various circles that she is a chosen of Maliki.
I mean shit.
She has got some juju powers here.
Yeah.
She's got some juju powers, but that doesn't mean shit if some other like being wants to come in and snatch the kid real quick. Like, fucking a.
Hey, if you want to raise your concern, you can raise your concern.
I mean, I will trust her with it. I mean, she seems confident, and I mean, if the kid's okay, then the kid's okay.
Um, by the way, Makai and Almas, he took her and took Jareth off to speak on the side. That bowl of things that she had combined it was still sitting there among the flowers. If you guys were interested in looking at that.
Oh yeah. Um. Well, I don't want to just steal the whole bowl, but
I mean, you could always
I'm
ask
gonna
her
ask
about it if you
Jareth.
want to do that.
Yeah. I'm gonna go ask Jareth if I can take the remainder just to, you know, keep it on hand in case Olm needs it again, or if I need to reapply it.
Fair enough. So you go in. Are you just going to go over to where Sinestro walked out of the woods?
Yeah.
All right. You go over there, and she's just standing there and basically looking at some flowers and some trees and adjusting various things among the branches and whatnot, not paying any mind to your approach.
Jareth, the the poultice. I know there's a remainder of it, and I obviously can't make it at this point. But may I take the rest for Edward?
She chuckles and motions for you to come closer to her.
I'll walk up closer.
She pulls you a little closer and very quietly says, "Don't tell Edward. It's nothing more than mashed up berries and twigs."
I'll stifle my giggle and I'll nod. I'm still taking it though, Jareth.
She shrugs and says, "As you wish."
Okay. I'll walk back to everybody trying not to laugh. And
I kind of thought that that's what was going on. That's funny.
I'll put it in an empty vial and just put it in my pocket.
You get about half a vial of Jareth's pulse. Um, you have, by the way, I added to your inventory. The Nightingale flower wreath is in your inventory now. You might need to refresh to see it.
Ooh. I also put the pistol and the short sword I got in my other notes because I didn't know what they were.
Okay. With that, is there anything else you guys want to do with these little druidy grove?
I need to get home.
We need to go shopping first.
What time
But
is it?
what time is it?
It's high noon, about lunchtime.
Oh yeah, we got
Noon?
time.
We got some time. We got to go shopping.
Yeah, we do. We need to
You
buy.
promised me chocolate, Mackay.
No, Zerio's buying plates and cups.
So
and all
far
that
as you
shit.
know,
Assuming
He's buying all the
Excel
silverware
did
and stuff. Or should be.
Wait, what? You all turned into robots there.
Should be buying like plates and silverware and stuff for the top house.
Sin, you're still a robot.
I
but
gave him
kinda
20 gold to
understood
do
you.
it.
Okay. So we need to buy what else?
food, kegs, etc., etc.
Yeah, and I do need to buy Lacuna chocolate because she's probably still crying her eyes out. If not, even more traumatized about our shenanigans earlier. And Olma dress.
Lacuna, what are you
So
doing while these guys are with the druids, by the way?
Time skip.
I have gathered as much as I could carry in my hands, and I've left the tavern.
Just taking your
I've
stuff and
left the
going?
manor. Yeah, I'm gonna go find a tavern because I'm just like Lacuna's a little broken right now. She doesn't really know what's going on, and she's being a teenager. She's heard she still doesn't know what the hell happened. All this shit happened like in a 16-hour period, and she's just like, I gotta go, I gotta go. So she's just picked up everything important to her that she could carry, and she's just gonna go hide in a tavern.
Okay. So 2 or 3 blocks down is the same tavern you guys were in before. Same familiar faces. If you want, you can go in there and have yourself a find yourself a room and just hang out. Is that what you're doing?
Pretty much, as long as they take one possibly traumatized mechanical cat. Um, if it's okay, what I would like to have with me, obviously I'm not taking my furniture with me, and this isn't like Lacuna hasn't thought about this long term. She's honestly scared at this point. So she's got all of her books that she could carry, including her grandmother's journal. She shows up at the tavern. She's carrying all this shit in that big stone basin that I had ordered before. That she could I'm like stumbling in, can barely lift. It's so heavy. I'm just like I need a room with a bath.
And the old tavern keeps. Yes, yes, of course, dear. And follow me. And he takes you up to the second floor, helps you carry your basket, your stone basin up all your things, sets it on the floor inside the room. He says, we'll get the bath ready for you. And goes into the side room, and there's a bathtub that's made of hammered bronze, and he just throws the falls. In this town, there actually is running water in the buildings, and a nice hot bath fills up. She's it's just relax for a bit. I'll check on you later.
I sort of just like nod. And is he leaving?
Yeah, he gently closes the door behind him, closes the lock, or turns the lock for you before closing the door. So the lock on the inside of the door, he basically turns it so that when he steps outside, the door is locked on the outside. You can't get back in, and just he leaves you to your peace.
What a nice tavern owner.
The
Unlike my
older gentleman,
adventuring party.
the older gentleman, you think, Kirsu, he probably sees a lot of rambunctious or unstable or emotionally lost individuals that just come rambling through the town here and there.
But I'm a well-paying one, so he'll tolerate me. So I get dressed and I get into the bath and I just have a good long cry.
Okay, so you're just soaking in the tub and having a good cry while they're doing all this.
Yeah.
All right, that works. Um, so for those of you that are going on your shopping adventure, I need each of you to make an investigation roll.
Investigation. 13. Wow. I thought my rolls sucked.
It happens.
It happens. So the three of you step out of the Folkemere Manor and you're looking about across the street. And directly across the street, in this little alcove in here, you guys, Makai, you are aware that there is a clother over here. They sell various dresses and the like, and it's a tailor. Various materials, and they will, if you wish, they can have things custom made for you there, and it occurs you. Let's go there if we want clothes.
Say, hey, Edward, let's go get you a dress.
I open my mouth and I'm like, hold on. Is there? I look around and how many people are out here right now?
It's a busy street right now.
Just go
Shit.
back to the Druid Garden and do it in the Druid Garden. They see nudity all the time. It's fine.
I wasn't talking about that, Makai. And I go back to the druid area. I shape change into my high elven female form, and I come.
You cut out there.
I go back into the druid area. I shapeshift into my high elven female form, and I come.
Okay. See? Garden.
You what?
He's wearing loose fitting, or she is now wearing loose fitting men's clothing.
Perfect. You need a dress. Let's go.
Yeah.
You think?
So take everybody over, get a dress.
You don't need to get a dress, but you need something that fits.
So out here in this garden, the park, or in this little roundabout rotunda here, there are various open air stalls and stands. Um, Roughly half of them are encompass this a tailor shop essentially. You can't tell who owns it currently, as there are various patrons just looking about at what is being offered there. There are pre-made, pre-cut, sewn dresses, pants, shirts, and the like, and it's kind of odd for those of you who don't live in major cities because in any smaller city outside of these large metropolitan areas, you don't often see that in tailors. Typically, when they have clothing, they wait until someone comes in and says, "I need clothing," and they get the measurements and they make the clothing for it. Um, they don't have things pre-made to a set, pattern.
I'm gonna eye Olm and then start sifting through the dresses, trying to find one that looks like it'll fit him or her. Sorry. This one.
Make an intelligence check.
Me?
Yep.
Can I watch this happen
100%.
and just like chuckle very, very like heartily?
100%. So Makai, you go and you flip through. There is um, various basically racks, and they're not very. There's not a lot of depth to them. There's 3 or 4 dresses per rack, and there's about 5 or 6 different stands. There's not a lot here, but there's enough that it's. I mean, there's enough that people can peruse and browse through it. It occurs to you that these probably, well, you could likely just purchase them off of the thing, or some of them have got tags, tied to them with prices and like. Um, More than likely, these are used as like templates or demonstrations, like this is what I can make kind of thing. It's basically a visual for those that are looking to shop. You think you find something that is going to fit on, and you think, okay, yeah, I got this. You bring it over, and as you hold it up to her, it's about 2 feet too short and 2 feet too wide.
I am not that busty, Makai.
Sorry.
Is there a person at the stall or anything like that?
Um, Make a perception check.
While you're looking, I'm also going to ask you what your favorite color is.
Oh, I found a dress for Olm. I'm gonna put it in Discord.
Looking about, there are about a dozen patrons in here. Parents, children, elderly individuals, and the like, that are just basically perusing. You do see an elderly elven individual. Their hair is tied back with a purple ribbon into a ponytail. The purple ribbon is in a bow. It's holding it back. He's wearing a clean, um, grayish black suit with purple trim on it, and he has a measuring tape in between his teeth and a couple of needles sticking out of his lips. And he's got an individual off to the side. And he's has a little note paper and he's just writing things down. Looks as though he's in the middle of measuring somebody.
So he's busy.
Currently, yes.
Okay, and I answer, I'm Sinestra. I say, rude.
Ed? You said?
What?
I don't think he heard the color you said. Rouge.
It's a color that I'm
Rouge.
using for roll 20.
Oh, so the color of his dice, basically.
Wait. I got another dress. It's super cute.
That's like the perfect color.
I'm just imagining Makai is just someone taking out these dresses that she's putting in
Oh,
Discord.
she definitely is. She's finding these
I'm just
fruity
gonna
little
find
things.
one that is rouge or close to that color.
Make an investigation check for me, Sinestra.
Something big money.
All right. You find what looks to be an evening gown wear dressed in his ruse. It's very slim cut. It looks as though it's meant to be form fitting, but there are a little bit of frills around the wrists and at the bottom of the dress, and it has a low cut in the back.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna grab that one. Say this might be just your speed.
Well, a
gonna-
nightgown is a start.
I'll hand it to you.
It's basically
I put it in my arm.
it's an evening wear. It's an evening gown. Something you would
Yeah,
wear
it's a
to like
start.
a ball. Um, that typically is something that you would see somebody wearing out on the street, though. It occurs to you that a wealthier individual might wear this perusing just walking about the street, if that's what you're looking for.
I could probably totally pass as one, so I'll take it.
You probably could. As you guys are spending the next,
Especially with the guy and me next to you.
as you are spending the next 15, 20 minutes or so of just looking between these dresses, trying to find something that would one fit and two is the color that she wants. The elderly elven individual comes. Can I help you? What are you wearing, dear?
I'm
Don't
gonna hold up
ask.
the evening dress and I'm just gonna say she needs this in her size.
No, no, no. She needs the cute little goth lolly one with the black bow. That's the one
Needs
she
both.
needs. Oh my god, it's adorable.
Are these
Being
two?
shot for
He
at this
goes.
point.
He looks at Sinestra Mackay and then looks at you almost. Are these two with you, miss?
I nod. Yeah, yes, they are.
Are they dressing you?
Oh, here,
Close
I want
friends.
a dress. I don't have a dress. I want one.
I'll
I
find
wear,
you one.
I wear leather and like a stupid fur little cape. That's about it.
You gonna continue finding me that dress, and I will find you.
I'm gonna keep looking.
Okay. Miss, let me just real quick, miss. I mean, reaches into his pocket and pulls out his tape measure, and he takes a couple of pins out of his other pocket. Goes, let's see here. He takes the measure and he wraps it around your neck and puts a pin in the tape measure. Then takes it and he wraps it around your waist, puts another pin in the tape measure, wraps it around your arm, pin the tape measure down your length, and he goes through and he slowly takes all of your measurements. And he takes the tape measure apart and he's got pins marked along various colors. And he pulls out his piece of paper and he writes your measurements down on it. Um, yes, well, okay, I can. It'll probably take me a day or two. Is there anything specific you're looking for?
Surprise me.
He smiles ear to ear. What's your favorite color, dear?
I'm gonna say this is her favorite color. She needs this.
What, midnight purple? Is that what?
Oh, rouge. The rouge
Oh.
dress.
He looks to you for confirmation.
I nod.
Very well. How many are you looking to acquire? And he sees like the dozen or so dresses that are in between your arms, Makai and Sinestros. You guys have got half a dozen,
Oh, we
a
have
dozen or
so
so
many.
ones. Yes. Particular style? Do you want multiple?
God, lolly.
Let's go with that one.
God, lolly.
He just nods. Okay. Hmm.
He's like really wanting to shop for herself. And we're just
Basically.
going crazy.
You guys are like throwing things. He's like waiting for Alm to basically confirm that, yeah, this is what I want, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And anything for you, miss? And he turns to you, Makai.
I'll
Oh my
hold up
god.
like the deepest green like thing I can find. I don't care what it is. I just grab something that's green and just like this.
You grab what looks to be a mixture between a cocktail dress and a maid's outfit.
Oh my god.
The skirt is cut very short in the back, as if bend over. It's very revealing.
I'm gonna
I
double
point.
down.
I point to that one, and since she's getting that one.
Oh, night in the town.
multiple nights.
Wait, what did he say?
Night on the town.
What's that mean?
Are you looking to have a good time? Basically, is what he's saying.
It's for
And,
work.
and that's why I replied multiple nights.
It's for work.
I smile.
Because apparently we're having a lolly cafe. It's like a maid cafe.
Yes.
Oh my god.
He smiles and says, "Would you like a wardrobe, mate?"
Sure.
I'm going to say
Sure.
yes. Every time he asks somebody if they want new amazing clothes, I'm gonna say yes. I'm gonna be that friend.
He smiles broadly and says, "Excellent. I do love new clients." And he goes behind his, dashes off, in a very dainty way behind his counter, pulls a book, brings it back, licks his finger and thumbs it through, and pulls a bit of looks kind of like a pen and a charcoal mix. It's very thin, stick like charcoal stick, and he licks it daintily, and as it touches his tongue, the tip of the thing turns red, and he begins scrawling in the book. And while the tip of the pen in his hand is red, it's writing in what looks to be black ink on the sheet, and he writes, "And your name, dear?" Looking at you, Om.
Seda Blackstone.
Seda Blackstone. All right. How do you spell that, dear?
Saida. Blackstone.
Perfect. Okay. And you'll need one outfit. Rouge color, or do you want different colors?
Rouge for most of them. Look at Makai and say maybe green for the other one.
Okay. One green, majority rouge.
You guys are gonna match. You guys are gonna match.
And he turns to you, Makai. And you, would you like something as well then?
Yes, please. The
And he's,
green dress. Do what?
he points at the one that Snesh was holding and says, "This number."
That's fine.
He smiles and pulls his tape measure out and takes the pins out of it as he
I'm
pulls.
6 foot tall, half elven druid.
As he pulls the pins out, the little markers at the end of the pins go back to a dull black color. And he puts them all between his teeth and takes a tape measure. He's like, "Okay, here, I want you to jump for this." And he starts taking all of the measurements as he does. He puts the pins in the tape measure as he does, and they change various colors as he goes through it. Puts his marks down on the paper, pulls the pins back out again, rolls his tape measure, puts it back in his pocket. Very meticulous. Okay. And your name, dear?
Makai.
And spell that, please.
Makai.
All right. Will you be picking these up?
How much would it
Will there be
cost to have
done?
them shipped to
Um,
Troll Skull Manor?
Our delivery service is 1 gold per block we travel.
Oof. We're way over
That's what,
here.
30 blocks, 40 blocks.
We'll
2,
take
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 blocks. 14 blocks.
I'm not looking
That
at my
sounds about
prices.
right.
This guy definitely caters to a wealthier clientele.
Wonderful.
You said a day, right?
Well, for an entire wardrobe, it would take me, to have them all done, it'll take me probably 3 or 4 days. I can have 1 or 2 made and shipped out to you by tomorrow evening.
You know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna pay the shipping because I'm lazy.
Yeah, I'll pay
So-
the shipping too.
Okay, and that's 2 gold per dress. 3 gold for that one. Pointing toward yours, Makai.
3 gold?
Wait, the shipping is more expensive than the dress.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's okay. How many dresses did I buy?
You guys brought a wardrobe for Om. You said you wanted a singular dress. Did you want an entire wardrobe for yourself as well?
How many would be in a wardrobe?
He tells you he makes 8 dresses for a wardrobe.
Done. I'll get a wardrobe of dresses, send the soonest ones tomorrow, and I'll pay shipping. Tell me how much that's
Damn.
worth.
16 gold plus another like. God.
Alright, that comes to 29 gold, 30 gold with the city's tailor's tax in there with that. For each of you.
Done.
If you'd like, I can ship them all in a singular package if they're going the same way and save you 13 gold.
Oh, yeah, that'll save
Yeah,
gold.
that'll work.
He smiles. Okay. Well, then that brings us down to. Let me see here. 2K the one. Holy crap, I'm bad at math.
Yeah, you
6
kind of made
gold.
me go,
45 gold total then.
I'll pay it all.
Went up.
Well, yeah, for both wardrobes and shipping.
It was going to be 30 gold per for shipping with each for each one, but
Oh, okay.
yeah, he took.
So 45 gold total for both Ulm and I?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I'll hand over the 45 gold.
Yes. Okay. Did you want them all in the same style, or should I add a little flair to it?
Feel free to add flair.
I'm gonna scream in the back. Do everything.
surprise us.
He smiles at you both. A nice broad smile that you can already see the creative juices flowing and the gears ticking in his head. And he says, "Very well then." And he puts a note on your little thing. Just you assume probably means have fun with it. He's all right then, ladies. I'll have these. As I said, something will be delivered to you to start with by tomorrow evening at the latest, and I'll have the rest of you by, let's say, 4 or 5 days.
Sounds wonderful.
Sounds good.
And you, dear, I'm looking at you all, looking over Dennis. Come with me. And he grabs you and just like pulls you into the back room. And he opens a pair of an armoire, basically. Just opens the doors. There's probably
Gonna ask if he could refit her clothes.
50 dresses in this thing, and various bits of traveling clothes. And he looks at you and pulls some out, and he holds them against you. No. And he pulls out one. It's kind of like a maroonish color, and you can't just put that on. And throw those away. And he motions to like a rubbish bin in the corner.
You, sir, are amazing. I take the dress and I go to change it.
He smiles and bows to you gentlemanly and turns and leaves the room.
I change into the dress.
We broke Makai. She's just linking like dress after dress after dress in the Discord.
Yeah, I'll take my old clothes and I'll make sure that there's nothing in them, and I'll put them in the cart, and I'll walk out.
There you are. Makai is, or sorry, you said Sada? Sadia?
Seda.
Sada. Sada.
Sadi.
Sadia.
Seda.
Sada comes out wearing what looks to be a maroon sundress with a little bit of frill around the base of it.
Oh, it's so cute.
I'll just put my arm out. Like the whole, ooh, do. Say, shall we?
I roll my eyes and I go, might as well.
So you take his arm and
This is
walk
so
out.
funny.
I'll take Sada's other hand. So cute.
So you guys have purchased clothing for Seda and Makai. It is now about 2 o'clock in the evening.
We need to buy chocolate and we need to head home. Like right now.
No, we can buy chocolate, and I reach for my loot and I say, I'm gonna try contacting her real quick. Do you guys want to say anything?
Chocolate, chocolate, chocolate.
Feel free, even though I think she's the druids.
Wait, who?
Lacuna.
Okay, so are you casting sending to Lacuna?
Yeah, I'm casting sending.
Okay, are you sending Lacuna?
Hey, Lacuna, we're getting you chocolate. Is there anything specific you want? In a very feminine voice.
Do you respond, Lacuna?
No,
Can't
I'm
stop.
passed out in my bath.
He's asleep in the bath. After a few minutes, there is no answer to your question.
No answer.
She's gonna drown in her own bath.
Maybe it's made out of wine and she'll slowly drink her bathwater.
Slowly drink it all.
Anyway, Makai, do you know a chocolate shop?
I should.
You do know a couple of sweet shops and pastry shops.
Let's go to the closest one that I know of. And then we need to head back because we have orphans to deal with.
The closest one you know is down on Rimrolled Way. It's just a little south of you guys down here. It's a little shop around Zikuna here in the back alley.
Yep. We're gonna head to Grimwald Way. Follow me. Are you a goth lolly aficionado too, Sen?
Oh,
What?
Anyway, you guys make your way down to Percy's Parlor. It is a little sweets and chocolate shop that has some pastries on the side, but mostly specializes in making like chocolate sweets.
Alright, you guys can either come in or you can wait. I'm buying Lacuna chocolate.
I'm going in. Are you a mad woman?
look, this is a freaking chocolate store. I am getting chocolate.
Okay.
Anything basically you guys can imagine, and some things that hadn't occurred to you are in here. There are something called wyvern bites. You're not sure what
I'm
they
getting one.
are, but there's a little bit of frost rime on the top of them.
Yep, I'm getting a wyvern bite.
Totally buying 2 of those.
What do you
buying-
think that Zeria would like?
Ooh, good idea.
He's very bitter. He probably likes bitter chocolates.
Yeah, it's like a really super dark chocolate.
Maybe you could send him a message.
I sigh and I take out my loot once again and hold on, I need to find my spell. Okay, there we go. I send him a message to Zeria going, "We're getting chocolate. Do you want anything?"
After a brief pause, the response you get back is surprise me.
Ooh.
I look at you
There it
both
is.
and I look at you both and I go, "He said surprise me."
No, I'm gonna find the weirdest thing in this whole store.
Yes! Yes! Do they have like dark chocolate covered bugs?
Alright.
Do they have dragon droplets?
There are various bits of candy and whatnot. This kind of think like Harry Potter candy store here. You do find something in the back that are called Dryad's bark. It's on the shelf behind the counter.
Yes, we're getting that.
It's in a little glass container, and you can't quite tell what it looks like inside the container, though the container itself is an emeraldish hue.
Yep. Buying the wyvern bites and the dryad's bark, and have to remember not to mix those up because Lacuna will kill me. And I think that should be good. No, there's more chocolate in here.
Oh, there's tons
Is
of chocolate.
there a attendant in here?
There are 3 individuals that you assume are probably the attendants, as they are all dressed in a similar manner. There's halflings, little halfling women that are just busy about the shop, just adjusting things. One of them is sitting behind the counter, and there is a box of just various shit strewn across the counter, and every now and then they grab one and they pop it in their mouth there.
I'm gonna approach one and go, excuse me.
Halfling woman says, yes, lovely dress.
Thank you. And I do a little curtsy bow and I say, I'm looking for something for a group of friends. I'm not quite certain what to get them.
May I suggest a sampler?
What'd you say?
May I suggest a sampler?
A sampler.
That sounds good.
Sample all of it.
Where are they?
She, 1 minute please, and goes behind the counter and pulls out it's a wooden box. It's about, let me say 8 inches or so long, 6 inches deep, and about 5 inches tall. And she pulls sets the box aside, and a little twist pulls the lid off of it. And inside the box, there are 4 different trays arrayed on various levels inside of it. So we have a little bit of, let's see here. We have some Dryad's Buck. There is some, let's see, American Scale. Some Dragon's Eggs, of course. The Beholder Eyes. Everyone loves those.
I'll take it.
She smells excellent and puts everything back in its proper places in the box and closes it back up.
I want 10 gold worth of chocolate.
Oh my god.
10 gold worth of chocolate.
I want
The
one
weirdest
of
shit.
as many different things as I can get with 10 gold worth of chocolate.
And are you speaking? So you're going to an attendant? You're telling me you want 10 gold worth of chocolate?
I want that much worth of chocolate. An attendant and say I want one of as many things as you can come up with.
She looks at you and goes, "Say for 10 gold worth of chocolate, I can give you 3 of everything."
Give me 3 of everything.
Okay. Whistles. 30. Doran, I need your help, please. This gentleman wants the catalog. Okay. And he goes bunch. 3. Okay. And they just run about the store. They just taking things off the shelf and just putting it in a bag.
Cleaning the store out.
Basically, just taking like 3 of everything off the shelf and just in a bag.
Oh, this is gonna be great. So you guys actually, you're gonna still get some?
I mean, if you're buying for everybody, I'm stealing some from you, Sen, because I need to buy Lacuna chocolate. But if you're buying 10 gold worth, I'm stealing some from you.
I hold my box closely and say,
This is mine.
by the way, do you think that Zero spell has worn off yet?
Hey, Mega, you keep cutting out. I can't.
Is it just me?
I hear him.
I hear him.
It's just
fine.
me?
Yeah, I think it's just you, Sen.
So weird. It's only Mega that like cuts out like that.
Yeah, he was asking about Zero's spell.
Okay.
I mean, you don't know how many spells he's able to cast, or what he does.
I just think it's amusing, or the scenario would be amusing.
Or if
He's
he just-
going to pay for something and suddenly he's a naked dark elf.
Wait, what?
He's asking if what would happen if Zerio's disguise spell faded while he's out walking about town.
Oh God, yeah. You should ask him.
Anyway, back to the topic at hand.
Various bits of chocolates. Sinestra, the piece de resistance of your little candy escapade is at the end of it. He reaches behind the counter and he pulls out little chocolate statues of dragons. They are all different colors. There are 5 different ones. There's
I want all 5 of them.
He puts 3 of each of the 5 out. There's a little black one, a little red one, a little green one, a little blue one, and a little white one.
I look at him and
Can I
ask,
buy all
is
5
there
of them?
one with all of them together, like they're all like a 5-headed dragon? Do you sell that?
Do we sell that? No, we don't sell that. Are you sure we don't sell that? No, we don't sell that. We can make it. There's just-
Ooh.
How long would it take?
Not long at all. And he grabs some dragons from the counter and starts breaking the heads off of them.
What? I wanted all 5 of those dragons.
No, he reached under the counter and he pulled more out and starts breaking the heads off of them.
Oh, perfect.
And
I'm
he
just gonna
takes
take my thing and go over to the other counter and just wait and just watch all of this happen.
he takes the black one and he breaks the heads off the other 4 and starts like trying to fix them. And he goes, "One moment," and he goes in the back and he pulls out a little what looks to be a spreading knife, and he taps it on the counter. And there's a little bit of hum, and then it starts glowing faintly, and then you see a little bit of smoke off. Puts it against the end of the neck, and it puts it against the chocolate, and the neck gets the chocolate, and the neck. And in the end, there is a black-bodied dragon with the various colored 5 heads sticking out of it.
Perfect. Okay, what does that actually take us to total?
So you paid 10. You know what? This is the house.
Oh,
This is
sweet.
amazing! And gold from my inventory and give it to him. He very much deserves it.
And what about my box?
That's 2 silver there.
I am take out a gold coin and slam it down. I look at the dragon bodies and go, include those.
The
Dragon bodies.
the bodies of the dragons.
Yeah,
He's done. Slips him into a bag and hands you the bag.
thank you, dear.
Makaya's already fishing her little hand in to get some of the broken dragon body chocolate, and like mine, 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 mine.
So the black one is a very rich and bitter dark chocolate. The red one is a cinnamon chocolate. The green is mint. The blue has a kind of blueberry flavor to it, and the white's just vanilla chocolate.
Totally
I'm taking
going
the
for-
green.
I'm
totally
grabbing
going
my
for-
giant bag of 10 golds worth of chocolate, and I am going to of the store and start flying home.
So your giant bag is they put it in a wooden box that is about 3 foot by 3 foot and about 2 feet tall, and they've
I
just
think
been
we need to
Oh.
go
neatly
carriage
packing
here.
stuff in that.
Yeah, we're gonna have to take
Wonderful.
a carriage home soon.
To help me carry this. But I am definitely still skipping out of here. I pick it up with the wind.
You know what is strewn?
Can we
chocolate
try
everywhere?
that out outside?
Oh my god.
And we like make sure everything is closed and it's all
They put everything in the box and they seal the box, so they put the lid on it, and there's a little clasp
it's not
in the
gonna get
corner.
broken, nothing's gonna get broken, nothing.
I mean, just don't jostle it too much. You should make it fine, as long as you're not sprinting.
Should we go for the wind?
No.
It's entirely
No.
up to you.
No.
Try and get a carriage over here.
We're gonna get a carriage. We'll get there by 5. We'll be in time for the damn orphans.
I mean, I think I need to grab the box and
my
turn
God.
into a wind orb.
Wait, turn me into a wind orb too.
Are
I
you
don't
gonna
wanna
do that?
fucking walk.
Don't leave me
Hey, I'm
here.
gonna look up at them and say, "Don't mind me. I'm disappear."
So, are you including them with the spell, or are you just doing it for
I
yourself?
will include them with the spell if they want to come.
Yes, please.
I'm not gonna stay here. I'm coming along.
All right. So you go
Um,
through the chest. You step outside of this place. What are you doing? Just right at the front door?
Yes.
Okay.
No
so you
one's touching my fucking chocolate.
So you step out the front door. They're all like waving at you, like come again. Please come back soon. And they're like, this like floor idea if someone's gonna spend 10 gold on chocolate and candies. It's like beyond them.
Well, I'm gonna get sick tonight on chocolate candy.
And as they're like waving at you, they see you turn to when they're like, their face just turned like to slack jaw. They're like, did that happen?
I'm
10
carrying
gold.
my
I
chocolate
don't care. 10
home.
gold.
10 gold.
I fly off. I don't even care if anyone's following me. I fly off with my chocolate, and I'm going to fly all the way into my room with my giant chest of chocolate and stow my chocolate in my room.
What?
In your room that is
Sneaky
still
ass
filled with rotting meat.
I'm going to put it in the bathroom.
How are you
No,
going
we
to
have-
keep your chocolate from melting?
We have
Fuck.
a pantry.
I gotta put it in the pantry, but I don't want any more. No, I'm putting it downstairs in the torture room because it's gonna be cold.
You go
And
down.
I
Oh,
fly back with them.
So you fly back and you get inside the building and you turn back to your form and you begin thinking, okay, where am I gonna put my chocolate? You go up to your room and you think, okay, it's too hot here, it's gonna melt. You go down to the dungeon and it's got that damp kind of mildewy smell to it. And
so gross.
there's a little drip of like water running down the back wall, like a natural spring. And it just goes the little stream going down the wall and it goes into the floor and just, it's not pooling or anything, but there's definitely a little bit of running water going down here.
Pantry.
You know what I need to do?
Pantry.
Pantry.
I'm
To
stealing your damn chocolate.
I know the pantry is a thing. I'll put it in the pantry, but I'm sealing that motherfucker shut.
It occurs to you, Sinestra, as you're frantically trying to think about where you can go, that same enchantment you did for the neck for the blacksmith.
That's what I was thinking.
I wonder if that would work for the box.
I want to do that on the box tonight, as soon as possible. Now.
As you are doing that, you get back, frantically looking around for a thing. It's about 5 o'clock in the evening now. Orsic and Adric come walking up with a bevy of youngsters following behind them.
You adopt them already?
Oh
And
my
they're
God.
like, so, Osik's like, you say you wanted to see them before you adopted, yeah?
Yes.
Oh, and he's claps his hand, children, come into my place. And there are mostly female, various elven races.
Okay.
You do see one male elf, one male among them. The rest of them are
I got
female.
a dud.
There are 2 young dark elven girls. There is one that's a star elf, a high elf. There's a tiefling in the mix. What looks to be a
There's a dude.
kind of a, you're not sure if it's an elf or if it's a ganassi, but it looks fairly similar in build and shape to the blacksmith. There are a couple of wild elves. One of them is male, and these elves, they look like they're dressed in like whatever they could find in the woods. There's random hides in them. There's twigs and shit sticking out of their hair. They look like it looks like they might have just like bribed these kids like and ran them through some bushes or something like that. They look wild. And then there is one elf that has a pair of white angelic wings sprouting out of her back.
He is for sure coming with me.
I look to Makai and I go, you're adopting?
Oh yeah. So Sin and I were kind of.
I look at Makai and Sin, I go, well, congratulations, you two. I wasn't aware you were.
Oh no. No. I
Okay.
was drunk. I was eating barbecue. We met these
Shit, you were not
motherfuckers. I was totally
I just gave you a fiendish smile and just start clapping.
Um,
You know, there are other ways to have children other than stealing them off the street.
drunk. Oh my god, we didn't steal them.
so,
You
Orsic says,
try that.
Oh my god.
as you guys are having this conversation, he says, before you kidnap, um, the labor master down at the workhouse, I informed her that you had a very specific clientele you liked. So this is what he had available to him. And he gestures to the group of children. They are, you can't quite tell the age because they are mostly elven, though none of you are elven either. Brother, you're half elven.
Half
I
elf.
look elven.
Yes, but
They look fine. They look decent. Okay.
that's
All I'm gonna ask, I'm gonna look at the kids and say,
your mic cut out.
I'll say, who can understand me?
Um,
Raise your hand.
all of them except for the two that look like they've got twigs and shit in their hair put their hands up. They both
Okay,
look
I'm gonna say it
pretty
again in
confused.
Celestial.
The girl with the wings, you see faintly her wings twitch as if like they're fidgeting, and you caught her attention. She keenly is focused on you. The rest of them look at you like you're. They clearly don't understand what you're saying.
I am going to say to the girl with the wings that in Celestial, I'm gonna say math.
You keep cutting out.
I'll say, can you do basic math?
She nods and she answers you in Celestial. That's an odd question.
It is, but it's for a purpose. Would you like to live here?
Her eyes light up. You're offering me a home? She's very meekish. Her voice is quiet.
Very much so. Yes.
She just nods eagerly.
Okay. You can stay here. I will be adopting this one. I will tell the dude this one for sure.
He says, "Okay, Mela," and he pulls out. He reaches back into his pocket and like rummages around with like his waistband, and like pulls his shirt
Mela?
out with him. And he's yeah,
How are these orphans dressed?
They are all that dressed in threadbare clothing. It looks like someone just took like some old grain sacks or whatever and repurposed them as clothing, with the
changing
exception
that.
of the
I
two.
turn to. Go ahead.
The two elves that are very Makai, you would recognize these as your druidic ways. These are wild elves, 100%. They don't really care for civilization and whatnot. You're not sure how they ended up in the workhouse. They may have been kidnapped, but they have clothing that looks like they went out and they just basically harvested bark from trees and they wove it together, and they have, for
I
lack of
can't
better words, like
understand common.
woven clothing.
You need.
So
I'm gonna like side eye the dwarf, and I'm like, I don't know where the workhouse found the two wild elves, but they need to free them because they are obviously kidnapped. Like legit.
I'm
You
gonna
want
say
shit on
no
your
to those
hands?
two.
Yeah. If you want shit on your hands, you can return them to the
We'll poop on
workhouse.
them.
But
Um,
I
Makai, you
will
speak
adopt.
Sylvan, correct?
Yes.
So
I do as well.
the conversation between the two of you, everything's going on. These two elves are very confused, and they're speaking to each other in Sylvan. What's going on? I don't know. Why are we here? I'm not sure.
I'm gonna kind of approach them and go, "What happened?" And so
And they say we're foraging in the forest, gathering berries and nuts and the like, and things went black, and now we're here.
Yeah, that's shady.
Need to let them go.
You need to let them go
But
right
I don't
now.
know that.
Right now. Let them go.
Where did you find these two?
Or she's, oh, in the book I've done it, the label master, she said that these were the ones that matched the set, and I sent me. I brought me. I trust. He's
The
very
labor
defensive about it.
master. What's her name? Because I am making a mental note to go fuck her shit up.
Priscilla.
Priscilla. The labor master, aka slave labor.
Oh, I'm gonna turn to the two elves and I'll kind of try to kneel down in my dress and say, "Don't worry, things will be back to normal soon enough."
They both nod to you, and they go, "Can we go?"
Yes.
I nod. Do you know your way home from here?
And he just points like north outside of town in a direction where a forest is that you passed coming into town.
I nod.
They both
We'll
just say
look.
thank you, and again they're speaking in Sylvan, and they just turn it and they leave.
I hear any of this? Like I know a little bit of Sylvan.
You gather from the conversation, you pick up that you get the gist that they're here against their will, but they don't know what's going on.
Okay. So I'm glad to see them leave.
It is my turn to look over the kids, and I actually
Ah.
stop in front of the tiefling. Because fuck your elves.
It's fine. There's a Ganassi in there too. And Dark Elves.
It is a blue-skinned tiefling, young tiefling girl. She's a little waif of a girl, tiny little thing, barely 4 foot tall. I mean, she looks young. Um, you're fairly sure she's not even like a teenager yet, and she's got long curly hairs and just like horns rather that roll back and almost form like a crown around her head.
What's your name, girl?
She looks up at you and she's I'm Vandani.
Vendami?
She just nods.
Okay.
What brought you? What's your story? How did you get here?
We're just questioning how they all got
Just
here.
questioning on how they all got here. All right. She goes, Dad couldn't afford it. He couldn't. He had to pay the landlord.
And he
This is
sold
horrible.
you?
This is horrible.
Your dad couldn't pay the landlord and he sold you? Is what I'm
Okay,
taking
we have
it?
space. She's staying here.
She
until-
just nods and says, "My brothers and sisters were hungry."
Oh my god, you're staying here, poor child. Okay. Are your brothers
This is
and
the
sisters
heartstring moments. Nez is
are,
gonna murder us. They're all
are your
staying. They're all
are
staying.
I'm gonna ask her if her brothers and sisters are still with her dad.
She nods.
Okay. So I don't have to adopt them. I know that they're safe for now.
She nods. Says, "They're all very young."
Yeah. Vendami, I'll find you room.
Her name?
Vendami?
Ask her name.
Vandani.
Nandami?
Vandani.
This is gonna be the game of remembering their orphan's name.
I'm
I've
writing
written
them down. I
Yeah.
have Mela and
Um,
Vendami. Or Vendani.
I think that we could probably have her work here, but she can go home.
Yeah. Yeah. I will pay you
She
a
want to go
wage.
home.
Yeah. Vendami, I will pay you a wage if you work here and you can take it home and help feed your family. But you don't have to live here if you don't want to.
My family's in Baldur's Gate.
I can't hear you, Nez.
She says her family is in Balador's Gate.
Oh
Oh
wow.
shit. Okay. She
I
can.
can't-
I just kind of go wise, like, how the hell did you get here?
Right?
I came on the boat. Is what she tells you.
Okay. Well, she's here. We're taking
Okay.
her.
Yeah, you'll stay here. Um, Vandami, go stand by Mela, and I point to the celestial elf, and I'll keep asking the orphans where they came from if they're here against their will.
All right,
Ask them
so
if they can do basic math and like.
Yeah, I'll ask that too if they could do basic math.
all right, so you have left in your lineup the 2 wild elves had left. You told them to go, so they left. There is the high elf, a star elf, and the 2 dark elves, and the Genasi looking. They're elven. They have the pointed ears, but they have that pale, faded skin and that wispy hair that you have seen as the various Genasi. That Sinestra, you're the only one that this really resonates with. That's probably Genasi bloodline because you are of the outer planes. You have seen this before.
Yeah. I am going to go up to the Ganassi. Just ask her if she's, I'm gonna make sure that she's here because she actually was supposed to be here, and then see if she wants to.
The Genasi doesn't speak common. She speaks broken common, and while she's speaking, she is thinking out loud, and she's speaking in Aryan. You
What?
understand Aryan, the language of the air elementals. You understand this because of the ritual you went through.
What the hell? Okay, so I'm gonna speak to her in Aryan then.
She looks completely surprised that you were speaking to her in the language.
I'm gonna ask her how she learned Aryan.
And she's by.
She's an Air Ganassi.
Yeah. She's, my grandfather taught me. She speaks to you in Aryan.
We'll have to teach you common, but would you like, are you here against your will? First of all,
Against my will. I came here with an adventuring party. I'm the only one left.
okay. Would you like to live here?
And she studies you quite intently. You can see intelligence behind her eyes as she's calculating out things. At what cost?
What costs? You just work here.
She's the first one to ever ask you what the cost is for staying here.
We will take care of you, and you just help. Nothing hard, nothing strenuous.
Explain this work.
I will explain it as basically being someone who would help take care of the tap house and serve food.
She don't have to fight anything.
Nope.
I'll take care of that.
And she just nods.
Unless you want to fight stuff. If you want to, you can. I mean, feel free.
She stops for a moment and thinks it over. And as she does, she's like just cracks. Like she just cracks her knuckles. And then she shrugs.
She wants to fight stuff.
Well, we found the tap room to protect her, apparently.
Right?
Yeah.
The bouncer.
All right. Well, I'm going to say, all right. What's your name?
She smiles and says, Jessica.
Great name. So
you adding Jessica to your list?
and I'm asking her if she wants to live here. If she don't want to live here, then I'm not going to add her to my list. But I'm offering the.
She gives us some thought and she just nods and says, better than the workhouse.
I would think so.
Do I have to pay them still?
Do you have to what?
Do I have to pay them still?
Fuck
To
no.
pay them?
She nods and she's you don't actually. She doesn't answer you. Sorry, Makai. She asks you again. She's speaking in Aryan, essentially.
Oh,
She
that's
asks.
right.
Yeah. So I ask, you have to pay them?
She nods and she says, "The workhouse. It takes our wages at the end of the day."
Not here. Take care of you far better than they will.
She just nods and says, "I would like that."
And I will turn to Makai and say, "This is Jessica. She's coming."
Okay.
So,
I don't know if you want to send
so I
ascending.
from the start off.
What?
I don't know if you want to send Zirio ascending, but I cannot speak under common. Did the drow speak common,
Um,
Nez?
they spoke broken common. They understood what you're saying, but you can tell from the way they speak it that they have a disdain for the language. Like they don't like speaking it.
They don't want to speak common.
I answer Makai. I would, but I think I'm all out for the day.
I mean, you guys can check to see if he's
Go
upstairs.
Can you see if he's upstairs? That's
Uh,
what I was about to
yeah.
say.
Okay.
Just wait here. I'll go upstairs.
Okay.
Let's
See
you
if
know,
they
Makai,
speak
you
Elvish,
should talk to him.
and I'll go and see if I can find Zirio.
You go upstairs and he's in his bedroom and sitting on the bed, his bed. There's a series of various sized dishes and plates, and he just has them out, like sitting out, and he's just inspecting them to see if any of them are like cracked or chipped or anything.
I think about it, and I'm like, no, I'll just knock. And I knock.
You knock on the door. He's a moment, and he comes over and he answers the door, and he's just wearing plain black cloth that looks like satin or silk clothing.
What the fuck?
She's got like light pants on and a loose button up shirt on.
Sin really wanted him to be naked for Ulm.
Yeah, just for you. You just literally. Never mind.
He opens the door and pauses and he goes, "Can I help you?"
Yes, Master Zirio. My Makai and Sinestra, I think, downstairs. They have orphans. 2 of them are drow. They would like you to speak. I'm just totally playing off like I don't know Zero at all.
Where did I put my dice at?
Check that's about to happen.
You need to make a deception check.
Oh shit! All right.
Okay.
I love playing chaotic good characters.
You better roll
by the way.
fucking high.
Oh my god, I love playing chaotic good characters because
Not
shenanigans.
bad.
He
So much fun.
takes a moment and looks you up and down. Dresses look better on you, Edward.
I sigh. Well, thank you.
He just matched your roll.
I do a curtsy bow and says, downstairs, if you will. Come along now.
Walks out. He's barefoot. Just comes down into the room.
Dump it down and been like, it's actually Seda.
As he steps in, the 2 dark elven girls see him and immediately scatter. They run and go and hide behind the bar.
Ooh.
Okay.
Well, that happened.
He stands there for a moment and looks confused. What's going on here?
Not quite sure. We were gonna ask you.
They speak broken common. We can't really have a conversation with them, so.
Makai, can you talk to the other 2 while we figure out what's
Yeah.
going on with the Dark Elves?
I'm gonna go and join Makai.
Yeah, I'll stop by the Star Elf and basically ask her the same spiel like, what's your name? You aren't here against your
Were
will.
you abducted?
Were you abducted? Because this
Do we
Priscilla
need to
bitch is
call Aaron
already-
Hansen?
This Priscilla bitch is already like I wrote her name down and I'm all like she is on my shit list.
um, she speaks in very practiced, elegant tones, quick, curt, and you think the ways that she handles herself, she probably comes from a higher class of society. And she says, you could say I got lost, and gives you this kind of like sheepish, like, whoops, smile.
You ran away from home?
No, I got lost. And she smiles again.
Oh my god.
And
Go
how lost is lost?
Well, you ever go for a walk and feel like you stumbled through a shimmering veil?
Oh, I've done that.
The way she describes this, Sinestra, to you, it's very
She
familiar
traveled
to,
across
like,
the plains.
basically like walking the Feywild, walking between the plains and the Feywild is what she's done.
I just did that today.
Yeah.
I'll say that to her. I just did that today.
She, Percy was, do you know the way back?
Okay, girl. Go to
Do actually. I do know the way back.
Oh, you do? I was gonna send her to Falconmere and be like, go talk to Jareth.
So I need to get my way back to Lilithville.
Oh boy. Okay. We need to get you to the druids.
Yeah. We were just there. You can stay here for now, but you're going home.
She just smiles and says, God, I hate that awful woman.
I'm
Jareth?
beginning to do the same.
I think she's talking about the labor master.
Yeah.
Oh.
Priscilla.
I'm
the
beginning
feelings
to
mutual
have the
here.
same feeling.
Yeah, the feeling's mutual about hating Priscilla right now.
Now I'm gonna examine the High Elf and go. Now, what is your story?
What's the Star Elf's name? I'm gonna ask.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to ask her name.
Yeah.
I want to ask all of their names.
And
Yeah.
She says, she smiles and gives you a little curtsy and says, Rin. R-I-N-N.
R-I-N-N, Rin.
Yep.
How did you spell Mella, by the way?
M-E-L-L. M-E-L-L-A.
L-L-A. Okay.
I'm gonna see what's up with the Dark Elves.
So,
Girls.
Zirio cautiously walks over and he just kind of like leans over the bar and looks at them. They look at him and their eyes go wide in fear and they try and make themselves like look faint in the corner. The one grabs the other one by the corner, throws her hand in the air and mutters an incantation and they both go invisible.
What?
Spellcasters.
Cast a spell at Zirio?
No, they cast the one girl,
Invisibility.
grabbed the other girl by the arm, put her arm on her shoulder, muttered an incantation, and they both went invisible.
Okay. I'm just gonna say.
Say what?
I mean, they're obviously scared of you, Zirio. Just tell them they're safe.
He sighs and makes a quick gesture of his hand. The incantation you recognize as being detect magic. And he just
They went invisible and tried to run away.
He turns toward the door and goes through again and casts Dispel Magic in the directions they're at. And the invisibility on them fades. He smiles and says something to them in a very soft tone in the Undercommon language. And they go rigid still. He backs up away, points toward a table in the corner, and says something again. They both nod sheepishly and go and sit at the table. He goes, he calls Leaf, and in common says, water for those two, please. Leaf nods and goes over. They see him, and they get freaked out. He says something again in undercommon to them. They both calm a little bit more. 2 glasses of water set down in front of them, and they just both just slowly sip at the water.
I'm gonna say to Zero, would you mind figuring out what their story and names are?
Make sure they're not abducted. Because from the sounds of it, Zero, this Priscilla bitch needs to be taken care of.
Abducting little fucking orphan kids.
Yeah.
I'm actually really kind of impressed that there was a story behind this after we just randomly were like,
I
let's get
know!
orphans.
I know.
So he looks at them and looks at you and Stasha and says, anyone that manages to capture Jero children and send them to slavery, typically selling them for less than innocent means, we'll call it that.
Really?
We kind of figured.
That seems to be the reoccurring story here.
They probably came from the slave trades in Baldur's Gate.
Fucking A. Well, figure out their names and if they want to stay here.
He just nods and
There is one other child, right? The high elf?
Yeah.
The high elf.
there is a high
don't know.
elven girl, and she's standing there fidgeting with her hands. Every now and then she's playing with her hair, and she's standing there very nervous, like looking down at her feet, looking up at you guys every now and then, looking back down.
I'm going to approach her, and in Elven, I'm going to say, don't be afraid.
And she looks up at you and says, I don't want to go back.
Back to the labor master, I said.
She just nods.
So, how did you get here? I kind of kneel down and kind of take her hands into mine.
Does she want to go back?
No, she doesn't.
Oh, okay.
She starts to cry.
There, and I attempt to take her into my arm. Just kind of rock her back and forth.
Takes about 5 or 10 minutes before you finally manage to calm her down.
I'm gonna walk over and kind of like rub her back to try and calm her down.
I think this one, probably less than savor.
Orsic, I think she might be one of the survivors from the orc attacks.
You're cutting. I can't hear you.
I
Nez.
couldn't hear you.
All right. So, Orsic chimes in, clears his throat, goes, he says, I think that lass might be one of the survivors from when the orcs raided the villages to the south.
Oh, Jesus. Is that true?
I'm gonna ask her and go, what do you remember?
I'm gonna go fetch a glass of water for her and bring it back and bring her a chair and have her sit down.
She, between tears, and she recounts to you the story of how orcs attacked her village in the dead of night and began to rape, murder, and pillage anyone in the village they could get their hands on. She recounts you the tale of how her father and her brother managed to hide her away inside of a storage chest in the closet of their home, and how she heard them being brutally dismembered and murdered by a band of basically ravaging barbarians.
Jesus Christ.
Ugh.
I turn to Sinestra and I go, I think this one needs to stay here.
Yeah. she's
Can you
mean.
ask her name?
What is your name, little one?
Val, V-A-L-L.
VALL.
A-L-L?
Val. And I'll
look
take
over at
out
her.
my lute and just start playing it for her.
She begins to calm down as you play the music.
Ask her if she
And
wants
I
to
invite-
actually even stay here. Like,
you
Val,
Go ahead.
would you like to stay here? We won't make you pay us your wage. We'll actually pay you. You'll get warm food, a bed. I don't know.
Barbecue every day.
And I'll say in
Just
Elvish, and there will be no orcs.
she just through tears, she just kind of nods and she wraps her arms around you, and hugs you tight.
I hug her back.
You're her mommy.
Oh.
What's the deal, Zirio?
So as all this is going on, he's been in the corner speaking with the two young girls, and he returns to you and says, "Well, from what I can gather with them, they were." You can tell he's stopped. He's like pondering ways to think of how to explain it in your language. Attending classes, school, learning, magic. Illithids attacked the class and took those that they could capture alive and sold them to the slavers in Baldur's Gate. Those that were too weak, and he points to the two girls, to be converted were either eaten or given to the gentlemen's clubs.
Makai hisses, just like furious fucking rage. Is like she's just like bristling anger.
And then he
Gonna
explains.
sigh in some serious frustration right now.
He explains to you then that they told me a heavyset woman purchased them from the slave master in the Baldur's Gate, put them on the ship, and brought them here to Washington.
Cool. Okay. Did you get their names?
Aaron and Fane.
Like okay. Well, Zirio, I'm just gonna tell you this right now before we get into a little bit of trouble. I'm gonna be taking a trip to the workhouse, possibly with
Oh, I'm
later
going.
today, this evening, if you would like to join.
Yeah.
And I just got this dress today.
He smiles at you all, and there is that similar makes your skin crawl and your blood run cold predatory grin, and says, "I believe you'll be watching the children tonight."
Would you watch the children, please?
Fine, I shall.
Taking all 6 of them, by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them.
7
Yeah,
kids.
because Rin needs
Seven
to
of
go.
them. They deserve fucking happiness.
I know. Well, Rin needs to go home, so we need to find her a way home, so she doesn't have to
Yeah.
stay with us.
We'll take her tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll take her to the Druids, but she's
To the
definitely
Druids
staying
tomorrow.
with us right now. Val, Mela, Vendami, and Jessica, and Aaron and Fane are all going to be permanent residents.
Unless they want to leave, and if they want to leave, they can.
Yeah, if they want to leave.
Basically, we are adopting them and they're becoming full fucking citizens of this city, and with minds of their own and goals and aspirations, and they can figure this shit out later.
So the plan is I'm watching the children, I guess.
You're watching the kids.
Mama Saida or Olm. You
Yeah.
have chocolate, right? Chocolate makes everything better.
I
Okay,
do.
I'm gonna make one rule. that box does not get opened until I come back.
Well, I mean, Olm had chocolate.
Yeah, I was going
Has
to give
chocolate.
them chocolate.
But my box does not get opened until I come back, and I will share. But I want to get the first piece out of that box.
Deal.
All right, children, stay here for a second, and I'm going to go back into the pantry, get my box out, and come back with it.
Okay.
Actually, get the 5-headed dragon. I'm gonna grab the 5-headed dragon and give it to you.
I'm gonna like try and find Liff and basically tell Liff, hey, help Olm out with like feeding the kids right now.
He,
I'll need a little bit of whiskey.
as you are,
Just kidding.
as you are like looking around for him, he appears behind you, and he says, "I heard it all, Makai. I'm not deaf."
I'll just say thanks, Leif, and as I start to walk out.
I'm following Sinestra. I'm so fucking pissed right now with this Priscilla
I am
bitch.
so
Do have-
mad.
As you guys leave, I'm gonna call out. Do have fun, dears. Don't burn down this.
I'm gonna.
like
I'm
jokingly blew a kiss to Olm.
will too, actually.
And I'll put the box on the table and gather around, children. I have something for you.
They all
And I
bright-eyed
point
and
to the
get on.
two in the back where Zero was talking to him, and I motion for them to come forward.
They stare at you and they look at him as he's leaving. He looks at you, looks at them, and says something to them in undercommon and just nods. And they nod back to him and they very cautiously come over to you, but they still stay on the outskirts of the group.
I undo the box. It is full of chocolate, and I say, "These are all yours. Share." And I give them a glare of complete evil.
They all like each one of them takes one thing out of it very gingerly, basically the first thing they can get their hands on, and they back away from the box and don't give it a second thought.
Aw.
I smile. Ah, I love you all already.
It was your box of chocolate.
Yeah, it was
Oh, this
originally going
is
to be for
great.
you. It was originally going to be for all of you, but there's children here now, and I'm stuck with them, so they're getting the.
It's okay. We've got more chocolate than we know what to do with.
Right? We get fucking bathed.
I just want that. I just want to make sure that I eat the first piece out of that box.
As you guys are walking at the door, Zero pauses for a moment, and as if like a second thought, and he's be right back. And he goes in. As he does, he reaches around his neck and he unclasps the chain on his neck, and he goes over to the two dark elven girls and hands the chain to them, and says something very quietly to them both, and they just both kind of like nod to him. They don't answer. They don't say anything back, and he comes back to you guys and just motions for you to follow.
I'm gonna look at Adaric, or Osric, because he's the one that does all the freaking talking. I'm gonna say, "Where's the workhouse?" Immediately.
He
Also,
he
thank you
smiles
for
and
doing
s-
such a really good job.
He smiles and says, "Oh wait. You might not thought bitch is getting her comeuppance."
Fuck yeah, she is.
Yes.
Edric goes back. He reaches into his pants and pulls out the snack bag of his. Goes inside the room, takes your hand home, puts the bag in your hand, grins, and then goes stomping back out. As he does, he's reaching into his pocket and he pulls a fucking battle axe out of his pocket.
Oh my god! Fuck yes!
Yes.
And it's like the Looney Tunes cartoons where just like out of nowhere comes this big thing. And it's just a battle axe.
Does he have a bag of holding in there too?
Just like as big of his arm.
And a snack bag.
You have the snack bag now, by the way. He handed that to you for this point in time.
I'm gonna say
Fucking feed
to
all the
Olm,
orphans.
I'm gonna say, feed them all.
Sinestra's fucking jealous right now.
You take care of that fucking bag, because I'm jealous.
Okay.
Reach
And-
in, think of the food you want, and it will come.
I am
Or
a
have the kid reach in and pull out the food they want.
Lily, what's the ghost name again? Wait a moment.
Liv.
Lith, are there any clean plates for the children?
He goes, Luke. And he's, instead of like going down as you see him do, he starts walking up steps, like going upstairs, and goes to the
You're
floor that's directly below where Zerio's room is. And he comes back down with like a stack of plates.
Those will do. Alright, children, all sit down, please.
So I added to your inventory the bottomless snack pack.
Oh
Oh
god.
my god!
My God, I am so jealous. You better give that to me. I'm just kidding. But holy fuck.
Mama Ohm is busy, damn it.
You don't know if you'll get it, if he's gonna ask for it back, but right now you are in possession of Adric's
should use
bottomless snack pack.
Uh,
So he comes out and like I said, he's got this nasty looking battle axe and just like this grin. And he says, "Oh, I've been waiting for this one." And he just starts just jogging down the street in the direction where you think it's at.
I think that's probably a good spot to stop.
Yes, that's where we're going to end tonight's game.
Fuck yes.
Great. We are walking into Priscilla's fucking office, and I'm not even gonna ask questions. She's dead.
Eldritch blast, finger guns. Pew,
I'm
pew.
gonna double cast Eldritch Blast. The first thing she's gonna fucking see is 4 holes in her eyes. Abducting kids and then like buying slaves. What the fuck is wrong with you?
With that, I'm going to sign this off for the evening. For any of those that happen to be watching this, I'll pick it up again next Saturday, 6:30 Eastern.